I think she probably said that because you got the black scent, bro.
You know what, man?
That's
First
what
of
it
all, shut the
was.
fuck up. First of all, shut up.
You always say
Second, I
first of
do.
all, and like, and sometimes you follow up with the second.
Just shut the fuck up, man.
All right,
Anyway,
fine.
so
I'll just walk away and you could talk.
this is just a live stream of me telling you to shut up at this point.
I mean, essentially, yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, because you need to shut up for real. Sometimes I just want to duct tape your mouth. Like,
Ooh, kinky.
yeah, I know, right? Anyway, so yeah, I love supporting my local businesses.
Hmm.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
Hmm.
I love supporting my local businesses. I told her that,
You don't live in
they're
Brooklyn.
it doesn't matter. It's
That's
in New
not
York
local.
City. It
Wow.
it is local. It's within the five boroughs. It's a city.
Okay.
Anyway,
Sure.
anyway. So yeah, I love my local businesses, especially people of color owned.
Hmm.
I told her that. She was like, "Hey, you look like someone who gets things done. You look like someone who would be efficient. I love your demeanor and your spirit." And I was like, "Thank you." Like, so many people don't see it, but I see it. Like, I feel the same way about me. Do you feel the same way about me?
I'm not even gonna touch that one.
You know what? Fuck you. If they're not for you, they're against you. They're your
All right,
opposite.
shut up.
No, I'm telling the truth.
You're not. You're talking
If
out
any,
your
if
ass.
any, that's something that I learned the hard way throughout the years. As right now, I
Yeah.
just turned 31 last
Wow.
month. Shout out to air signs, Geminis, Aquarius, Libras, we're the best. Um, yeah, so if someone is not for you 100%, they're just against you, and therefore they're your
It's a
ops.
very simple way of looking at the world.
Nah,
That's also a
just fuck
very
you.
leftist thing to say too. It's like if you don't completely agree with me and like side with me, then you're the worst thing in the world
If
and
you're
you
my
need to
friend,
die.
if you're my friend and you're
Yeah.
not with me 100%, then what the fuck? I mean, unless I'm trying to hurt someone or trying to do something illegal, sometimes
That's
okay.
that's your that's your that's where you draw the line.
If I'm doing something that
Enable
will
me
hurt
unless
people,
it's her unless I
yeah,
want to kill other people.
yeah, basically, because what the fuck is that? That's
That's
terrorism.
not a what?
Look, don't even get me started, bro. I worked at the 9/11 museum. I have no shortage of information on terrorism, even shit that I didn't have any business
How do
learning
you
about.
go from someone not supporting what you're
Yo,
doing
bro, take
and
some
correlating that
nootropics.
to how do you correlate that to
Take some,
terrorism?
take some nootropics or some ginseng and catch up, bro. Your mind's working like a
What are you
snail's fucking
talking
glue.
about?
I'm talking about the fact that if people are your friends, they should be with you 100%, no matter what you're going through in life,
But
no
don't you
matter
think
what.
that's an oversimplification of things? Because don't you think it?
How is it oversimplified? You either with me or you're
All
not.
right, slow down, slow down.
It's like I asked you about the tattoo. I was
The
like, hey, what do you think?
definition,
And you're
the definition. I'm asking you the definition of like someone. What'd you say? Someone being with you 100%. If you're doing something that I don't think uh, it's different if it's something that I don't agree with, right? Because that's that. Then I'm making it about me, right? It depends on also what you're asking me. But if you're doing something that I think is not healthy, and I'm not siding with you, that makes me a bad friend. Apparently, I just have to go yes, queen,
depends.
to everything you want to do, unless
Yeah, like you told me to drop out of college multiple times, and I was
that's
like,
fire
no.
advice.
Okay, that's your opinion, though.
All right, but so does that mean that I'm not a friend because I said something that you don't like? Do you
I
really think
think
that
that,
this is a healthy way to conduct yourself? To just like someone has to be with me 100%, otherwise they're an enemy.
well, I mean, I go to therapy for a reason,
I
so
think you
it's
should
kind of like
talk
I
about
know
this
these
more in therapy.
people. The thing is, I grew up around people who tried to sabotage me and tried to
That's
get
a
me to
different thing though.
self-sabotage.
But also you could have unhealthy habits that make you think that people are sabotaging you just because of whatever stuff you might have going on, right?
I don't know. I'm super paranoid these days. You either with me or
And you know what?
against me.
That's fine.
If I'm trying to improve
It's
my
good that you
life,
acknowledge that as a
if I'm
possibility.
trying, it's kind of like, let's say you have a friend
Yeah.
who is like morbidly obese or some shit, right?
Yeah,
And
many.
they're like,
I have
I want to,
several.
huh?
I have
You
several.
say you? Oh, okay. I was like,
Well, I'm
oh,
overweight, but I don't think my friend said that I might be technically obese because we were talking about like the bullshit of like the BMI and blah blah blah, but whatever. I was like, I'm fat, but like not fat fat.
the BMI is racist. Anyway,
Okay, Jesus. Okay, let me get the notebook. I gotta start writing shit down.
the BMI is racist, but
She's
that's for
rolling.
later on. All
Okay.
right. So anyway, um, basically, let's say you have a friend who's morbidly obese, right? That's definitely not healthy. That's not a way to live, right? So they want to tell you, hey, I want to lose weight and I want to get on a good, lifestyle to help me maintain my life and overall live it better and more comfortably. And someone's like, man, you don't gotta lose weight. And it's because they're thinking, oh, but I like you better when you're like this and you're always home and always eating. That's someone who's against you. Like that's someone who's trying to
I'm
sabotage
surprised
you.
that you say this because this really goes against like this massive movement, no pun intended, about like fat positivity and body
Ay
positivity.
Dios mío.
What?
That's an individual choice. If you're okay being overweight, then by all means. I mean, I have so many
But
people
that's
who
not
have
what I'm
so
talking
many
about.
different I have so many people who had so many different opinions about how I look, from you're smoking hot to ill, what the fuck? And it doesn't matter because how I see myself is how I see myself.
But okay, we're not
Talking
all right.
about
I'll pump the
if
brakes.
you want to change for the better, or if you want to change, period,
Yeah, but
and
that's not what I'm
someone's
talking
not
about. What
with you,
I'm mentioning the movement, this so-called body positivity movement, which is like a lot of it is like posturing fat people and putting them on like covers of magazines as if to say like this is fine, this is beautiful,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
normal. And it's
Mhm.
like they ignore the obvious health effects of being fat and even obese because there's like obese people that are like perpetuating this shit of just like I'm so
Here's
beautiful and they're going out and wearing gross shit
yeah,
that shows their
yeah.
body. Oh, and it's like, oh, this is a person who's probably gonna die soon.
I mean, to
But
be
it's like,
honest
yes,
with you,
queen, die soon. So it's like, is that 100% being with someone,
to
telling your
be
friend
honest,
who's probably gonna have a heart attack?
to be honest with you, fat people are objectively beautiful. If you think that they're beautiful, if you think that they're not, then
We're
oh
not
well.
talking about that.
I met some skinny people who I thought were ugly. I met some fat people who I thought were
Yeah, but
gorgeous, like Shy Girl.
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the movement of basically ignoring the health
But
risks of being fat.
what I'm saying is that beauty is like in the eye of the beholder. It's cliche,
Not
but it's
talking about
true.
beauty.
Okay, but I'm saying that this is technically
I
okay.
mean, I
I
guess
mean, it's
kind of
okay to
talking
be a
about it.
different size than everyone else.
Why is it okay?
Because people come in different sizes, bro. People come in different races. People come in different
So
blood
you think
types. Like,
that's not that's I think it's a crazy thing to correlate with.
oh, you sound whack as fuck, to be honest with you. I'm not even gonna
Wow,
hold
you
you.
spicy, babe.
You're against diversity or some shit, bro.
Nope,
Like
that's not what we're
people come
talking
in
about.
different people come in different ways. If they're fat and they want to lose weight, that's okay. If they're
Yeah.
skinny and they want to gain weight, that's also okay.
Why is that
All right,
okay?
let people be. Because that's up to the individual. You don't
Well,
occupy
I'm
their
not saying yeah,
body.
you're talking about freedom. I'm not talking about that. Yes. You have the right to do whatever you want. You have the right
So what are
to
you
shoot up
talking
heroin. You
about?
have the right to drink yourself to death.
Yes, yes, you do. You
You have the
do.
right. Yeah,
Just
that's but that's
understand that
not what we're talking about.
each choice has consequences. If I choose to
Damn.
keep drinking coffee every single day, knowing that it's not good for me because I don't tolerate caffeine, I should expect to deal with the fact that it's not gonna be
All
good
right.
for me. That's
But
it. It's an individual
that's
choice.
not what I'm debating.
So what are you
See,
debating?
you don't listen. You just keep rolling and going on and you're like you've already moved like several points off of what we started with.
So what are you
Because you're
debating?
making
You're debating.
assumptions about what I'm saying and you're letting yourself you're only listening to yourself and you're going on a
Is this
roll.
the Jay Francis fucking wines fucking show or something?
The what?
Is this the whining ass Jay Francis show?
I'm
Because I
lying?
thought we were debating. I said whining.
Oh, why?
You're
I'm not.
whiny
How am
as
I
fuck right
whining?
now.
Bro, you just went on a
Because
whole
I'm just
tangent. You're
giving you
raising
my
your voice. I'm
opinion.
talking normal and I'm not saying anything. I'm not attacking you or anything.
Oh,
How am I
whatever.
being whiny?
Okay, so my point
You're
is this is
projecting
from
OD right now. That's not whining.
no, I'm
How am
not.
I whining? For trying to
This
keep
is
you on
my
track, you're going off the rails.
you argue like a Puerto Rican.
All right. Well, you're going full ad hom now and you're just like I'm just going to insult you because I'm upset with what you're saying.
No, I don't give a fuck. I
You do
said
give
it.
a fuck.
Yes, I do. I'm
Doesn't
trying to
even
tell you
make
the
any
truth.
sense. You're arguing like a Puerto
Okay.
Rican.
Do I ever make sense?
What? No.
No. Okay, so
It's a
don't
good
pay
point.
attention to
It's a
me.
good
Duh,
point.
I'm here to be a
It's a,
resident
it's a good point.
a leftist idiot.
Hey, don't talk about yourself like
No, I
that.
meant that sarcastically. I'm a leftist motherfucking
Oh,
genius.
okay.
All right, there we go. Anyway,
Leftist
so
motherfucking genius.
yes, exactly. Anyway, so like I said, the body positivity movement is
Hmm.
to accept people for who they are, and it's an individual choice for you to be the size you are. It's to accept people of other sizes, not think that they're fuckable. It's to accept people, which is what we were missing in the modeling world, in the
All
fashion
right.
world, in the world in
Very
general
bored.
for
Very bored with this
decades.
because you're not staying on track. You're not even grappling with what I'm saying.
Whatever. What?
You're
Okay, go
talking about
ahead. Make
something
your
that I'm
point.
not talking. I already tried to, but you keep repeating the same thing and going off on these tangents.
Go ahead, bro.
It doesn't matter because I don't think you're even listening to me right now. But
Yes, I am listening to you. I gave you the arena. Go ahead.
thank you for giving me the arena.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you so
like I
much.
stopped talking. I shut up. So go ahead.
What I was talking about was the fact that we prop up people now, or not even we, because I'm not partaking in this, but I'm saying as a society, there's been a lot of magazines, stuff like that, that are putting obese people, people who are legitimately, clinically at risk, and we're putting them on magazine covers. Why? To normalize it. Okay.
So
What effect do
most
you think that
Americans look
has?
like that.
What effect do you think that has on the youth for one, but people in general? It says, okay, it's okay to be fat.
Okay.
When in literal scientific fact, it is not okay to be fat. It is not okay to be fat. It is not healthy because you have, number one, heart disease is a big part of it, right? You have diabetes, you have other aspects of your body that are affected from being overweight alone, not even obese. So obese is like a whole other, like, it should be an obvious thing.
All
So it's
right.
like, do you agree? You either agree that it's healthy to be overweight and obese, or you don't. That's what we're talking.
But
That's what I was trying to talk about. You went into a
well,
whole ethics and like objective opinion thing about like what's attractive to people individually. That's not what I'm talking about.
okay.
I'm talking about people being propelled into the spotlight in the mainstream and being equated with people who were traditionally, in my opinion, I think we went in the other direction where we put up way too many skinny bitches that also don't look healthy. But it's like a lot of the time, especially if you look at like Sports Illustrated, stuff like that, these are athletes, these are people that are actually fit and actually care about their health and are usually pretty healthy. Definitely healthier than the obese models you see in like the Lizzos and all this stuff.
All right. So first things first, I just want to get this off my chest. There's so many so-called fat people who are out here living life to the fullest and looking happy and showing all their teeth while they're doing it. And that's proof that body positivity is a thing that actually works.
Yeah.
Because
So it works to enable them to
this
die.
okay, but I
It's
mean,
beautiful.
the
Let
body
them.
positivity movement wasn't to determine if people are acceptable if they're healthy. They're
Mhm.
they're acceptable because they're being themselves, they're being authentic, and they're living their lives. I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of people, especially people like you, get super worked up about Tess Holiday and Lizzo and all those plus size models or more than plus size models. Um, they're just doing their job. They're models and they're actresses or they're singers. It's not up to you to determine whether they're healthy or not because that's not what's selling the magazine cover or the album or whatever you're
You're
trying to
right.
sell
It's
me.
not up to me. I didn't make that determination that they're healthy or not.
Okay,
Doctors
but
did.
really, the
Scientists did
body,
that. I didn't determine that.
but
I'm
really,
referring to the scientists.
the whole body positivity movement is seen as like a joke or seen as
It is a joke.
unhealthy. It's seen as unhealthy
It is
because these are
unhealthy.
okay, because people are still, by and large, no pun intended, fat phobic, and they're still biased against people
We're not
who
fat
look
phobic.
like that.
Nobody's fat phobic.
Yes, you are.
I'm fat phobic. I'm scared of fat people.
Well, I mean, you're not scared of fat people, but you're scared of the idea of fat people being seen as something to be loved,
Oh
something to be
wow,
adored, some.
nice try. That was a
Look,
very
look,
nice attempt at a semantical twist.
Lizzo, Lizzo built her career because she's a damn good singer to some people. I
Mm-hmm.
don't listen to her music, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that she seems like a cool chick. I like
I'm not.
Shy
Yeah,
Girl.
I'm not. Yeah, that for sure. I mean, Lizzo
I
has
don't
like
listen.
effectively become the main, I guess, like the poster child of this movement. Um, she is
You
talented. She's a
know,
very. I don't think anybody would debate that she's talented.
yeah. I
I think
mean,
people
I
would
listen to.
definitely debate the fact that the stuff that she perpetuates, like having obese people dancing on stage with her and saying like this is okay to be this way. I think that's a dangerous
It's
thing.
okay
How is it
because
okay?
that is
What
up
does
to the.
okay mean?
It's up to the individual if they want to lose weight or be super big or be super skinny because that's their fucking body. That's the whole point of this movement, bro.
That's not what
It's
we're
not
talking
about
about
the
though.
people. Yes, it
I
is
agree
because
with
it
you.
debates and
I'm not even disagreeing with you on that. We already established this. You keep repeating the same thing over and over again.
so
You're
as
trying to use the
someone,
same argument for one thing that we already agreed on, and you're applying it to something that we're talking about
Jay,
that's
you
different.
don't know how to debate. You don't know how to
I don't know
debate,
how to debate.
bro.
Okay, let's all right,
I'm
how do we
bringing
make this
up.
as simple as possible? I'm arguing that people who are obese in the spotlight, whether it's performers, uh, models on magazine covers, that is an unhealthy idea that they're perpetuating.
But that's
Saying
not the
this is
point
okay to
of the
be. All right, but
movement.
that's not what we're talking
That's what
about,
I'm
though. I'm arguing
arguing.
that that's the effect that the effect that it has is unhealthy on the public because it teaches
But
stuff like
most
little girls
Americans look
to be
like
like it's
Lizzo,
okay.
not like Tyra
Okay,
Banks in 1998.
most Americans are very unhealthy.
Okay,
Again, I agree with you. Just
so
because that's the
what?
normal doesn't mean like it's okay. That we should just let that. We shouldn't do anything for that then, I guess, right? We should be encouraging. We should continue to encourage people to be obese, is what you're saying.
But I'm asking. I mean, like, there's
It's
so many
okay. If
layers
you have a little
to this.
girl and she's obese, tell her don't worry about it.
But
She's gonna
why
be
does it
perfectly
have to be a
fine.
problem if the little girl's obese? Little boys can be obese,
Okay,
and people just
sure,
make fat jokes, and they're like,
sure,
"Oh,
sure.
it's a, it's boys being
Little
boys."
boys,
Like,
little girls, little they thems,
it's
whatever the fuck it is.
2020. It's 2023, bro. We can't keep up the same mindset forever.
Keep
You
what
either have
mindset?
people
The
the
only argument I'm
mindset.
making is that we shouldn't be propping up people who are
Look,
morbidly
as
obese.
someone who is a stereotypical millennial, I'm really into wellness. I'm really into eating properly when I can afford to.
Mm-hmm.
I gained weight in 2017 after I cut alcohol cold turkey and
Mm-hmm.
got sober. And after that, I lost the weight because I said, hey, I just don't feel comfortable like this because, my clothes that I wear don't fit properly like this and that. That's an individual choice. I got fat shamed and I got made fun of, but it had nothing to do
So
with
you
me.
didn't have
It
any
had,
concern about your actual health. You just didn't like the way your clothes fit and shit like that.
yes,
See,
because I had no health problems apart from
not yet.
being more
If you continue on that path, you will have health problems.
did you not hear me say that I just fucking lost the weight over 2020 when I was in quarantine? I took it upon
Yeah,
myself to
that's great.
clean my
So
diet.
you
That's
made a
it.
choice to become healthier.
Yes, and now I feel great again.
Okay.
So,
Why are you bringing this up?
I mean, that's because that's an individual choice. I got fat shamed and I got
This is
called names and shit like that. But
fatty
ultimately,
stuff like that.
yeah. But I know
It's
for
not
a
nice.
fact that has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with the person insulting me. It's
Okay, maybe.
because they don't feel comfortable with themselves.
All right.
So they take it out on me because honestly, I was just living my life
Mm-hmm.
and having fun and, dyeing my hair and stuff like that. And a bunch of people had problems with me because I was just not, I don't know, I didn't look the same as before. And that was their
Making
problem.
unhealthy choices is what you're doing.
Yeah, but you smoke all the time. So,
And I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't say we should put people smoking cigarettes on magazine covers. Like again,
but
you're not grappling with what I'm talking about. You're going off on these side things that it's like I don't even
but,
disagree with you on these things.
but you're saying but you're saying
All right,
that
maybe this will
the
help you
body
understand what my. Let me give you
positivity
an extreme.
movement, can I tell you the
All
body
right, go ahead.
positivity
Go ahead.
movement stands for this because
Mm-hmm.
this has been around for a while
Mm-hmm.
and it's just recently became something that is seen as the norm at this point, seeing not, fit models on covers or whatever your problem is.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. This is what the body positivity movement stands for. It's okay to feel good about yourself, whether if you're disabled, whether if you're overweight, whether if you're really thin or anorexic, whether if you have plastic surgery, if you don't. Be yourself is the point of the body positivity
Be
movement.
unhealthy.
And be
Not be
yourself.
yourself. Be unhealthy.
But do you think that you're healthy?
Well,
I mean,
I think you're assuming things about, like, you're doing this like black and white thing that a lot of people do.
Do you feel
I'm
like
not
you
saying
deserve to be chastised for smoking
no,
or whatever
absolutely
the
not.
fuck your problem is?
Absolutely not.
So that's the body
But
positivity
that's
movement. Do you
okay.
see my
But that's
point?
not no, but that's not what's happening. That's not what's going on.
Okay.
You're focusing
We
on one
see
aspect
people
of it.
smoking and drinking and
All right, this is a
snorting
very
drugs all the
yeah, but we're not
time.
putting them on magazine covers.
Yes, we are. We're putting them on our TV shows that teenagers are watching.
That's how is that the same as telling people that obese people are over, like, this is healthy, this is fine.
Do they watch Euphoria?
Well, Euphoria, what?
I'm saying that it doesn't matter what type of media that they're consuming, whether it's print or online.
Okay, so you're extending this to everything else. All right, so we'll talk about everything else. Okay, yes. You mentioned alcohol. I'm not slow. No, I'm not slow, but like
because you're not getting it.
I am getting it. I was just about to tell you about how I get it. Yes. Okay. You want to broaden the conversation to that? All right. Yes, we do over glorify drugs and alcohol. Mostly alcohol. Alcohol is extremely.
Do you think that?
Yes, of course it's not healthy.
Do you think that the people out here want to say, "Hey, I don't like people who smoke. They shouldn't even be seen in public"?
And you know what we did about smoke? Do you see?
What phobia sounds like.
Let me ask you something.
You're not a supermodel.
Okay, let me ask you something. Do you see
covers of magazines and shit?
Alcohol is one thing, right? Because that's something that
unhealthy.
No, it is very unhealthy. That's not what I'm. You're not letting.
You.
Buddy. Guy.
They're both bad for you. That's the
friend. Point. Do me a favor. Would you?
I went sober.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor and shut up for a second. Do you see advertisements? Do you see advertisements for cigarettes?
We both see all types of
do you see? Do you
stuff.
see advertisements for cigarettes?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, I
Where?
do.
Where do you see an advertisement for cigarettes?
I see them on the street.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. And you know why you don't? Because no, you don't. Because there are no advertisements. There are no advertisements for cigarettes because it was banned. They used to do this up until the 90s. There are no advertisements on the subways, on buses. There's no advertisements for cigarettes. Not in New York.
I see advertisements for vape and Prozac and Lexapro.
All right. Are vape cigarettes? No.
But they have nicotine in them like cigarettes.
Moving the goalpost again. This is a new thing, and the regulations, I guarantee you, they already are cracking down on it. It's a new thing, so they're gonna crack down on it the same exact way. What I asked you was a very specific and direct question. Do you see cigarette advertisements? And you said yes, and I said no. That is impossible because it is banned. You do not see cigarette advertisements. Show me a picture of a cigarette advertisement in New York. Show me give me any proof. No, I'm not kidding you. You will not find a cigarette advertisement because it was banned. They used to be everywhere. And do you know why they banned it? Do you know the history of why they banned it? No, you don't.
Yes, I do, because I was alive.
You were alive, and you clearly don't know because you're arguing something that it's not factually correct.
Dude, I see advertisements for everything that's considered.
Name one brand of cigarettes. Cigarette advertisement. What advertisement have you seen for what brand of cigarettes?
More people.
Because that's what I'm asking you. You can't stay on topic. You're moving. Oh, but e-vapes, and I'm like, no, we're talking about cigarettes. If you want to talk about e-vapes and stuff like that, we can. I'm talking about cigarettes, just in this moment, and you can't fucking stay on topic. You keep bringing up other things that have nothing to do with what I'm saying.
First of all, dude, I'm saying that most people that are like younger than us are smoking vapes. They're not smoking cigarettes.
Okay, we were not talking about that. If you want to talk about that, we can in a separate thing. But I'm trying to finish this one point, and I think because you know that I'm making a point that refutes yours and this proves what you're saying, you want to move on to another thing, which you do every time. You move on to another thing.
Let me guess.
Just stay on it.
It's offensive to you that cigarettes are banned from being on advertisements by fat chicks.
Why would you assume that?
No,
I think advertising for a lot of things should be banned because they promote unhealthy things. Yes.
I see Smirnoff ads everywhere.
Yes, that's my point.
people die more from
Yes,
alcohol
alcohol
use than
causes most of the problems in
vaping.
society. Yes,
So, okay, but
I agree
I
with you.
mean,
What point are you trying to make?
the point that I'm trying to make is that really there's advertisements for all types of unhealthy shit every day, especially
Okay.
that
So because they do it,
pay
we
in
should let it
installments.
everything else. So we should start putting heroin addicts on
Oh,
magazine
so
covers then.
I thought that something that conservatives agree on, or people that are
I'm
all
not
more to the
conservative.
right, that people that are more to the right, I'm not just talking about you, people that are the anti me, the people that are not like me,
Hmm.
I thought they think of individual choice as being important.
It
So
is,
how
but
come you
that's
can't
not what
just
we're
make,
talking about.
why do you care if there's advertisements for this and that if you can just make your individual choice like George Washington and Abraham Lincoln
So by that
promised that
logic,
we
you're
can
saying that we should be allowed to have advertisements and people smoking
but
cigarettes on.
from the way I see it, the right really likes the status quo, and they really like people to be all up in your business because I think that it should be up to anyone over 18 to decide whether they smoke or whatever.
So you're ignoring
So,
the ad. So you're ignoring the ad. This is interesting because
dude, you're not for individual choice. You're up for the
how
nanny.
what did I
You're
say
for
that
the
what did I
nanny
say
state.
that what did I say that goes against individual choice?
Because you say that if we have bigger people in the media, like
Obese
it's all
people,
good and
morbidly obese people.
it doesn't matter what type of size they are
Yes, it
because
does.
that's not an advertisement for you to live. I don't look at pop
Then
stars and
why
say,
are they
I want to
specifically
live
choosing
like
them?
that because that's who they make music at the time, or that's the model of the moment. Every era has a different thing of what's cool and what's in.
Hmm.
It's okay. I think that it's awesome that we see more different body types on the runway and everything
Why?
because most people are not 5 foot 6 feet tall and a size two. So I mean, if you are, that's okay too. But we need diversity because there's different types of models. And I see models that could be like pinup girls on the
What do
runway.
you think the function of modeling is? What do you think the purpose of
Why do you
models?
care about the function of modeling if
You're
you're
not
more
answering
if
my
you're
question.
the point of modeling is to showcase a garment, a type of advertisement, a lifestyle, a product. Basically, they're a wire hanger, essentially.
On a
They're,
magazine cover, on all magazine covers. There's very different types of magazines. They're not all focused on fashion.
I know they're not all focused on fashion.
So
There's
it's like
women's
Sports Illustrated, for
magazines.
instance.
There's
Sports Illustrated has nothing to do with. They're not modeling swimsuits. They're not saying, "Hey, this is check out this line of swimsuits." What do you think the purpose of that is? Traditionally
well, I
speaking,
mean,
Sports
I
Illustrated
don't.
has always been what? I mean, this should be a very simple question to answer given the title of the
Well, I
magazine.
mean, it's mostly about sports, but I used to see nothing but, little white girls in bikinis on it most of the time. I never read Sports Illustrated, but that's mostly what it looked like.
And you know what? I already conceded this to you. I said that there has obviously always been a weird, also very unhealthy bias to like we got to put like the skinniest people, especially when it comes to women, right?
That used to be
It
how the
used,
industry was,
yes, that is what I'm
especially
saying,
the fashion industry. But
and it's
now,
still there.
because
It's
I have more experience with that.
yeah,
I know people who have modeled, I know people who are photographers, I know people who are freelancers, I know people who are really into fashion. I myself am really into certain types of
yes,
fashion, even though I don't consume it because I
hmm,
can't afford it. But that's a different story. I'm really into art, so I'm really into high fashion as an art piece. So I noticed that there's a lot of different types of bodies on the runway and music videos and everything now. And I think that's great because that's actually great for the human psyche to be represented.
but
I know
all
more
right,
people who look like Lizzo than more than people who look like Kate Moss. I mean, the only
interesting.
people,
You're gonna have a lot of friends
yeah.
that are gonna be dead soon.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean,
we could
that's
talk
not
about
my
human
opinion. They're
factors.
very likely to have very serious complications, whether it's heart disease or heart
We
attacks.
could talk about demographics, living in a lower income community and
Might as
people who
well
are
talk about whatever because we've already gone off the beat and we just the initial point is just so far back. I feel like
I
we
don't
should.
like your attitude about
I don't
it.
have an attitude. I'm just stating a fact.
You're one of those types of Hispanics who think that just because their hair isn't super kinky and that they have white skin, that they can just be above all that type of stuff. You
That,
have to be
why do you? I don't even know how you jump to this. How do you even?
because you come
How do,
across as someone like that to me. A lot of Hispanics
oh,
who
okay. So you're
like
drawing from
you
stereotypes now.
oh, no, no, no. From the people that I've met in real life,
Mm,
a lot of Hispanics who skew more to the right or
right.
libertarianism tends to
Right.
be like that.
Hmm.
Okay, they're like, oh, I don't look like the type of people who are being oppressed, so therefore I have nothing to do with that. And there you go. Like, that's
Okay.
not.
There's nothing to
That's
do with
just
what
my
I was saying, but okay.
observation. It's just my
Yeah.
observation.
Well, it's a foolish one, my friend. But anyway, let's
No,
move
but
on
I
to the
met
next
people
one.
like that.
Let's move
They're
on
the
to
type
something.
of
Well, Bick,
people
well,
who
you can carry the same energy about how what you hate my whatever stereotype you think I am, and you can apply
I
that
don't
on the
think of you
next
as a
the
I
next
don't think of you
topic.
as a I'm not stereotyping you. I'm saying that this is the kind of like logic that people
Right.
like that who I have met.
Yeah. You're
I'm not
defining
saying
you're
that
defining a
against you.
stereotype. You're describing what a stereotype is, by the way. So you're
I'm
playing this
not
you're
saying
playing this
that
game where
in
you're saying this is not what it is, but then you say what it is in a very different way, or not even that different of a way, and you don't realize that. So it's like you just don't want to admit that I make a point. You can't you're trying to go around, and a lot of not to, I mean, I guess we might as well, since we're playing the stereotype game. A lot of leftists do this where they just like, I can't, no matter what sense you're making, in my mind, whether it's a conscious decision or not, I'm gonna say words. I'm gonna if I say more words, it's just gonna make it seem like what I'm saying is not what I'm saying. But it's like I'm listening to what you're saying, and I know how language works. And if I'm wrong, like I've said multiple times in this like very short amount of time we've been speaking, that I agree with you on a lot of things, and still you go on this thing and you're going off the beaten path. And I'm like, all right, you're talking about all these things that we mostly agree on, and you're not grappling with the initial point. And then
Okay.
when I describe something that you're doing that is factually and scientifically wrong and stuff like that, you say, well, no, it's not that, and then you just shape things in a different way, but you're saying the same thing. But in your mind, if I say it in a different way, then it makes it seem like I'm not conceding anything, and because you just don't want to admit that you're wrong about something, which is fine. If you want to be ignorant of what's going on, that's fine. Anyway, you should download Threads because this would be interesting.
But you have to tell me what Threads is first.
Okay, so Threads they just launched it, I think, last night. Instagram, Meta, whatever the fuck. And this is like, I was like, what is this? It's like they put advertisements on Instagram, and they're like, this is like a companion app. I don't know, but it's also a standalone app that you have to download, and it's basically Facebook's Twitter.
Yeah. Okay.
So set it up. You
Uh,
can you can download it, and you can immediately like follow like everyone that you follow on Instagram, which I'm not sure is a great idea because I think it's smarter to just pick and choose because there's a lot of fucking random people that I follow, and I'm like, I don't want to
there's
hear your
so
fucking posts.
there's so many ugh, there's so many social media platforms and sites now, and I just
I know.
I can't even keep up.
And you know what's crazy is that a lot of people are saying like this has become a meme in itself, where they're just like, okay, so Twitter again, basically. But then there's some people who are like, whether they're leftists or like certain Hollywood types who are unhappy about like what's going on at Twitter for the past year or whatever. They're like, yes, finally, and it's just like it's so funny to me because it's like you're bitching about one media conglomerate and CEO in particular, but you're okay with another media conglomerate and CEO. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
fuck Elon Musk because whatever people think a Nazi, fascist, right wing. Maybe he's fucking Puerto Rican too. Who knows? But maybe he identifies as Puerto Rican. Who knows? Um, but they're like, okay, yes, Zuck and Facebook, Meta, yeah, let's have our make a Twitter over here. We're gonna get what we want on this one. Just crazy to me.
Uh-huh.
But the layout of it is very interesting. I mean, what I mean to say,
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's so boring.
Well,
But
I
if
mean,
it's modeled exactly
honestly,
after Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I like Twitter. I've always loved Twitter. I love the idea of Twitter. So let's just leave Twitter like that. But get the fuck out, Elon Musk, if he's gone.
Wow. Do you have a problem with Elon
Yeah,
Musk
I don't
letting
like
people
Elon Musk.
enforcing free speech on
Yeah,
Twitter?
he's just a lame ass guy. That's not free speech.
All right.
He's just not
Let's
free
table all
speech.
right. I'm going to write this down because you have a fucking problem with this shit. Let's table Elon and talk
No,
about
you
fucking
have a
threads.
problem.
I have many problems. I'll admit that. I have less of a problem staying on topic than you.
So,
Oh, wait. I forgot that this was a thing. Let me try that again. I have less of a problem staying on topic than you. Yeah.
oh, shots fired. Wow.
Pwned. Anyway, download it and let me know what you think.
All right.
It's
Get
like
into it.
it's literally like black and white Twitter. Like it looks very bland. And I'm sure they're gonna make a bunch of
Mm.
changes to it and shit, but it doesn't even make sense because like the main page like is like it still shows a bunch of people that I don't even follow.
Yeah, you sound like my dad, kind of confused about how TikTok works.
No, I'm not confused. I'm looking.
Oh,
You'll see
by
what
the
I
way,
mean.
if I have a list right now, it's because my tongue ring is too long for my piercing right
Hey
now. And
yo,
yeah, and why do you guys
why is your
act like
tongue? Why is
that?
your tongue so long? You say your tongue is so long for now. What does
No,
that
no,
mean?
my tongue. No. I said my if I have a list right now, it's
Yeah.
because my tongue piercing bar is too long and I have to shorten it because it
Oh,
just
the
recently
bar is too
healed.
long.
Yeah, that's why I kind of sort of have a list right now. I
I
don't
didn't. I didn't
usually.
notice it.
Yeah, well, I was paranoid about it because I don't know. I think lists were kind of like
Hilarious.
annoying, annoying.
Hilarious. My sister has a lisp,
Not. Ugh.
but it's not like a constant lisp. It's like certain things she says. You know.
Okay, I'm continuing. I'm downloading.
hmm Have you set up
All
the
right.
you've been using the field shit or whatever that thing is? That shit had me dying setting that up, bro.
What is field? I'm
My
like not
man.
really. I'm not really like into it yet
Oh,
because I was so focused on a bunch of stuff. I can't focus unless I have a
yeah,
job.
no
Okay,
shit.
like I need money. I need money. I feel like
Maybe
I'm
when you
destitute
get
right
a job,
now.
you can stay on topic. Damn it! Wait.
Shut up. You just love that stupid ass thing, huh?
I love a lot of stupid ass things. You're one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you.
Oh.
Man.
Turning into a fucking like morning radio show now.
Yeah, Z100.
Yeah.
This is giving me like around a whole round trip to set up this stupid thing. Oh,
Yeah, there's some ugly broads on this app. I mean, that's every app. Yes,
what's an ugly
representation.
broad? What's an ugly broad to a basic bitch straight man like you?
Wow, took it mad personally.
I'm just asking.
Took it mad personally.
Actually, no, don't answer that. Don't answer that. I don't need that advice.
Yeah, don't be careful what you wish for.
Like what?
What you just
I
asked
don't.
me. Did she just accidentally leave? I'm assuming that wasn't on purpose because she did it on her own, unless her phone died. Either that or she rage quit again, which is be a new record. Wow, I'm reading on this app, this field app. I don't even know why they called it this. And this lady who has a picture of like her ass and her like and her tits in her photos says Latina, fully vaxxed, 420 friendly, PhD, leftist, enjoy meaningless, silly conversation. Looking for other nerdy, career-oriented, sex-positive folks. Let's chat, meet for a drink, flirt, and see what happens. Open to possibilities. blah blah blah. And then at the end she says, no MAGA anti-vax, New Jersey, Long Island. This is crazy. That is crazy. I can't with this app, dude. These people are nuts. Hetero flexible, like, I mean, I guess call me a traditionalist, but like, it's just bi. You're just bi. They say all these. What is it? Hetero flexible, which I don't even know like why that's a thing. But I mean, I guess whatever. More power to you if you like to just make up words because it makes you feel better. But heteroflexible is like kind of the same thing as, isn't that the same thing as like just being queer in general, or like, what do you call it, gender fluid, or not gender fluid, I don't know what's the sexual version, because gender is obviously different than sex, but like, or sexual preferences, whatever, orientation. She didn't realize that she left the chat. That's weird because it was like right after I used like the soundboard too. All right, so it was an accident. Yeah, because she like left in the middle of a sentence. I don't know how that happened. Maybe she closed the app or something. It's weird. I have 15 followers on this bullshit. What the hell happened here? No, yeah, nothing. I didn't change anything on here, so she should be able to join. What is happening? Yeah, look at this guy's art. It's pretty cool. How fucking sick is that? I might add some stuff like that to my arm. It's fucking metal. What's his name? Litvinov Alexander. Let me leave the voice chat and come back in, because maybe it's some weird bug on my end. I don't know. That is so bizarre. Let's see. Yeah, nobody's here. I don't know how she's confused by this. Whoa! Forgot to turn my speakers off. This guy's fucking sick. Where is he? Oh, he's Russian. That's what I figured. I could already tell from the name. Dude, that's the worst thing. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's like high level. What do you call that? It's kind of like trash polka, but like collage. It's pretty sick. It's really well done. Like, jeez, that's so sick. It looks like it's like she's wearing like a shirt or something printed on. Like, it's like, this guy's phenomenal. It's like a mixture of like realism and like just vibrant cartoon and illustrative and portrait, all this shit. That's fucking sick. Got some graph in there. I'm not really a fan. Like, I respect the style of realism. I don't really like realism. Got some anime stuff. Got some realistic fucking rhino thing there. Cool. Oh, that's very pretty. This cat. The flowers. This guy's nice. This guy's fucking nice. Seems like he's pretty. I mostly see like maybe two, three styles, but like it seems like he can do kind of anything, which is very good. You want that in a tattoo artist. It shows you that they're capable. You know, they might not be the best at each and every style, but like you can tell this guy's pretty good at like every style he does. Like, you know, he's definitely not bad. Like I don't see any that are like, oh, that's horrible, you know? He's pretty good at basically all of it. That's awesome. There's just random tanks and shit too. Wait, what is happening here? What is this? Like World War II Russians? Wow. Is that really who I think it is? This guy is fucking crazy. I mean, it's cool. Like he clearly he's very into this, like, you know, miniature, you know, painting and all this stuff. That was wow. Also, wow. That is. I'm not even gonna click that. That's crazy, dude's fucking. Yeah, who the hell decides? Hey, you know what I want? I want a girl who's getting bukkake tattooed on my arm forever. Another one. Oh my god. Oh, I've seen this guy before. He does a lot of this, like porn chicks. You know, that's just, don't worry about that. She's just she tried to drink some milk too fast, and it got all over. That's all it is. It's nothing else going on there. We're just gonna get rid of that there. God, we don't need to. We don't need to harp on that. I think maybe her app froze. Damn, now that song is stuck in my head. So bizarre, how bizarre, how bizarre. I fucking hate that song. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. I heard that shit in the store the other day and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna be screwed for like a week now. How bizarre, how bizarre. How did you come up with that? What is that song called? Let me see. I forgot what that song. Who's the guy that sings that song? How bizarre, how bizarre. I bet you it's foreign. So the group is called OMC. New Zealand. I knew it. There she is. Maybe. You joined, but I can't hear you.
Yes,
Oh, there
I'm
you go.
back.
So funny. You just finished calling me a boomer that doesn't know how shit works, and then you fucking canceled yourself.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, but it wasn't me. My whole system just went berserk.
It was the
And
white
I had
man.
to set my password and everything.
Mm.
Yep. So, yeah, where were we?
Did you? So you
Uh,
got threads?
you're a fascist.
Yeah,
That's where we were
obviously.
at.
Yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who disagrees with you is a fascist.
Um,
Anyone who disagrees with you is Puerto Rican. That's what it is.
nah.
That's it from now on. Anyway, you were talking about well, I mean this seems like pretty like I don't even know what the right word is for it, but like it's kind of like beating a dead horse because I guess I don't have that much experience directly speaking to someone who has an issue with like the whole Elon Musk owning Twitter thing. So it seems kind
Well,
of boring to talk about, but like I'm gonna do it anyway because I like getting upset apparently. So what's
yeah.
your what do you have an issue with Elon Musk as a whole, or do you just have an issue with him doing what he did to just
Um,
body the fucking corrupt fucks at Twitter?
well, to me, he's kind of like a superfluous person. He's just some guy who is part of a rich family and does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people would say that he does a lot because, he was part of this company, but really he's just an overgrown child
Mm-hmm.
who takes all of his privilege and goes to places and thinks that he could run it. That's it. Most billionaires are by and large useless.
That's a bold claim.
Yeah, because it's
They're
true.
useless.
They're mostly useless, yeah.
Useless how?
Well,
I
because
think
they
I
don't
think that that's pretty.
contribute.
They're not useless really. I mean, they run giant companies that employ thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of
Oh,
people.
okay.
So
All right.
by
But
term
those
and definition, they're
companies,
not useless because they're giving people jobs.
well, those companies tend to be corrupt or they tend to have ethical problems within the company. And overall, they just go through life just being super rich and
Mm-hmm.
doing dumb things with it, like going to outer space.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's it.
I mean, do you really think that simplistically? Like these companies started as nothing.
Yeah,
I think people
but
just they assume these things and they want to vent just because they like to attack people for having more money than they do. But it's like they didn't just overnight become a thing. They did a lot of shit. Even if they did come from a rich
uh,
family, like, don't you think that's unfair to kind of like? I mean, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate, but like I just don't. The thing that upsets me is that most people who complain, whether it's about Amazon or Twitter or Facebook or whatever, anyone who's up there, whether it's Bezos, Zuckerberg, fucking Elon, they only care about the fact that they're like the richest people in the world, and it's like, okay, Amazon has a lot of issues. I have a lot of issues with Amazon. I have a lot of issues with Twitter as well. Um, Facebook, I've always had issues with. Google, Alphabet, very disgusting companies. They did not start out that way though, because I mean they're all different, but like I'll focus on one, for instance, like Amazon. Do you remember how Amazon started?
yeah, it started in his basement or whatever.
And PayPal started the same exact way, which is Elon Musk's like
Yeah.
first big company that like became successful. And he revolutionized, like he essentially that company. Obviously, he didn't do it alone. He had other people, whatever. But there's a lot of documentation. I don't think it's fair to completely just dismiss him as just some rich guy. Where it's like he actually worked very hard, and he obviously has brains. He's not a stupid guy. So it's like along the way, you know how many people he's employed, how many people he's worked with and given jobs to, whether they were poor or people who were like really talented, whether they're coders or business people. Like it takes a lot of work to build up a company. And for it to become extremely successful, I think people only focus um, a lot of the time on the fact that they're insanely rich now. So it's like, should there be a cap on how rich you're allowed to be? How rich would he is? Do you think he should be allowed to be where you won't bitch about it? I
I
think
mean,
that's a good question.
I have no problem with people being rich, but by and large, these people are just parasites, honestly.
They're
They're the type
parasites.
to me, yeah. Because as a
Billionaires are
person,
parasites.
pretty much you just use all the resources and, work from other people to propel yourself to be one of the richest people in the world,
Okay,
and you're not doing anything with that
I got it.
besides
Yeah,
just living your
anti-capitalist
life.
argument.
Yeah.
You're anti-capitalism, so you don't understand how
Yeah.
capitalism works, or
I don't have a
you don't
problem with
disagree with it.
rich people, but I have a problem with super mega huge
Well,
billionaires
that's what I asked you. It's like,
who
what's the fine line? And it's like, how do you even think realistically that in a perfect world where let's say you're the one that gets to define these lines, like how do you even? These are such complicated things. Like, how do you determine who's allowed to be like
I don't care about who's allowed to be rich or not. I don't give a fuck if you're rich or not. It's just that these people, these billionaires like Elon Musk and the other guy, the bald guy, what's his name?
Jeff
Jeff
Bezos?
Bezos.
Yeah.
Jeff, yeah, he. I mean, everyone's always talking about how amazing they are, and they started from this and that, but you don't understand that these people also just took advantage of all the resources that they had available to them, and they also had privileges that not everyone else has at the same time. And
So
that's no problem with that because
no,
I appreciate a start from nothing, become whatever
yeah,
you want type
like
person.
Oprah. So you're saying you have a problem with Oprah?
Yes, I didn't say I have a problem with rich people. I said talking about these specific billionaires, Bill
Oh, only
Gates.
specific. Also, like the white male ones.
Yes, because
Okay,
by and large, they
gotcha.
are useless to society.
They're useless to society. Oh, come
Yes,
on. You're
they
better than
are.
this, dude. That is
I don't
so
care
like
about these people,
intellectually
but I see
dishonest.
I don't care about these people, but I just
You
constantly
do
have to
though.
be bombarded with information about them all the time,
I
and the
for
Kardashians as well. Like, I'm
Yeah,
just sick and
I
tired
hear
of
more
hearing
negative
about.
things about all of those people than like what you're saying. All I hear is
Okay,
negative things about them. So I don't know what, like, who's praising these people. Nobody's praising them. I think anytime someone is successful, uh, you're gonna have crazy things said about you. People are they're gonna hate on you
I don't want
now
to
more
talk
than
about
ever.
rich people all the time either. I'm poor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a poor fucking
So
financially
you're
getting.
jelly, bro.
I'm not envious of a fucking billionaire,
Peanut
bro. I'm
butter
just
and
upset.
jealous.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, so again, we started with like, what's your issue with Elon as it pertains to Twitter? Like, do you think like what impact like do you so you I mean you said you love Twitter still, right? Like you still use
Yes, I
Twitter.
love Twitter no matter what because I think that is free speech at its finest, to be honest with
Do
you.
you think it's
When they
more or
don't
less
have,
now?
well, I mean, around the time where Elon Musk was there, I think he's not there anymore.
No,
He's
he
not
is.
running the place.
He's not the CEO.
Um,
He's very
putting
much
putting a
involved.
price tag on places like this is exactly why I don't like people like them. I mean, you can only get certain security features and certain access to certain things if you pay for it. Like, what the fuck, bro? Who puts a price tag on the internet in 2023? That fucking motherfucking Elon Musk. I don't like that
But what
guy.
did he take away from you?
Nothing. I just don't like the
So
idea
then
of
why are you so
someone.
mad? Why you have to be
Well,
mad? It's only Twitter.
this isn't healthy for me, to be honest with you.
What isn't? Twitter?
I don't know. I don't like complaining about people who don't even know I exist, to be honest. This is some rich white guy who is just,
I think you're
going.
looking for a lot of like escape buttons. I think that's what it is. I think when you get
Well,
challenged, you
bro,
get really upset.
I'm kind of just the president of the Soft Life Club, where basically I don't want to live life with more stress than I have to. And the less
Hmm.
I think about rich white people who don't give a fuck about anybody else, the better. That's just my
Okay, so we
opinion.
could talk about rich black people if you want.
Uh, well, that's a different monster in itself
Oh, so
because
there's a problem
that,
with that too?
I mean, to be honest with you, bro, there's so many. I think being rich now is way more unethical than it should be because we could celebrate success, especially if a black man is a billionaire in this country. But at what cost? Like, how did you get here? And why are all the other successful black people not eating off the same plate as you? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But then again, I'm just a socialist, so
I mean, I think that this particular viewpoint that you have is not even social. I think it's just more straight up communism, where you feel like certain you don't want to admit it, but I think your views align with those who think that people shouldn't be allowed to be a certain level of rich. Because you keep saying you don't have a problem with people being rich, but it's
I
like,
have
oh,
a problem with people
super white,
being
super rich.
I have a problem with people who are problem with specifically those two,
Hmm.
Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos,
Why is
because
it
they
just
have
them?
specifically them
But
because
why?
that's a specific type of rich person
There's
that
so many rich
I
people
don't
though, like that.
because I mean that's a specific type of rich
How?
person that is specifically
Yeah.
useless
How is
to
it
this
specific?
society.
You keep saying
Here's
specific.
the
How?
thing. Because they're just there to, be rich and profit of other people's desperateness, disparities,
Yeesh.
and the fact that they can't find work other than working at a fucking Amazon warehouse and taking advantage of that and making them work in conditions like the way they do and making people like me feel dirty for shopping from such a place
Wow.
and for making people like me, people who have no other option, maybe
This is
just to work
such
at
a bad
Amazon
take,
or for
dude.
work.
This
Okay,
is one of your worst takes.
all right.
You have some bad takes that I'm like, I could fuck with it. This is a very uninformed one. Just saying. I think you're grossly downplaying what they do. I don't think you even have a clue what they actually
Yeah,
do when
bro,
they go to
I'm not
work.
really really paying attention to what a bunch of rich people are doing, and
But
just
you
like,
can't have
I'm
that.
trying
Yeah,
to
but if
get
you're
my
not paying,
life
okay, so
together. I'm 31 years old.
if you're not paying attention to what they're doing, what makes you think it's fair for you to be so critical of them if you don't
I don't
don't know
even
what they
think
do?
about these people.
But why do you have such hypercharged opinions about them then if you don't think about them?
Because they are
That's
not
paradoxical what
people,
you're saying.
because they're not people who are doing anything like amazing in life, and I'm over here being judged inadvertently or maybe
Who's
subconsciously
judging
because
you?
I'm a student.
No
Everyone's
one's
judging
judging
me.
you.
Everyone's judging you. Everyone's judging everyone like us, low
Man, who
income
gives a
people of
fuck?
color.
Let them judge.
And that's exactly what these billionaires think. So if they can judge people like us,
How
I
are
can judge
they
people.
judging us? You don't know that.
Okay, whatever, bro.
I mean,
Charging people through social
bro,
media.
I will suck your dick as much as you want, as long as you give me some receipts. Like, I don't have a problem. Like, there's a reason why I'm asking you this shit, but you say a lot of things and you don't back them up, which is like, I'm willing to hear you out, but for one, you're saying a lot of paradoxical things that are just that you're like shooting yourself in the foot and like saying a lot of things that don't make sense because it's like you'll say one thing or what something isn't, and then you'll say something that contradicts it. So it's like it's all over the place. You're saying, okay, I don't care about rich people. I don't care. I'm not focused on. I'm focusing on myself. Whatever. But you have these really passionate, emotional like ideas about them. So it's like that right there is like, wait, what? So you're admitting you don't know what it is that they do, but you're complaining about how they don't do anything. So it's like, okay, which is it? You're either informed and you know for a fact that they don't do anything, but then you're also
Cherub
acknowledging.
doesn't care about rich people.
Then why do you have such emotional opinions about them?
Because I just have an opinion about them, and you asked me for
No,
my
you have a
opinion.
very yeah, it's fine. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely
I don't
asking you for a
like.
reason.
I really don't want to be the type of person who is on financial aid and on EBT complaining about billionaires. I really don't.
But you
I'm
are though.
sorry.
You are being that person.
Ugh,
You just don't. You just don't want to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You just spent a bunch of time complaining about them and how you don't like them and shit. I'm like, okay, that's fine. They're not immune to being fucking lit up like anybody else. So, but it's like, okay, like, what are we talking about here? Like, what is the issue you have with them? Like, to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, you let me down because I'm a little disappointed because I thought you would have
I don't
a more.
give a fuck, man. Fuck your
Okay.
opinion about me.
All right. I mean, I don't have an opinion. That's not an opinion about you. I'm just saying, like, I thought you were gonna have. That's why I brought up the Twitter thing because I thought you would have a more like informative take on what's going on.
Honestly, there's so much going on.
I think you just hate
right
just to
now.
hate.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a hater. Who knows?
Well, I mean, that's I mean, it's not fine, but it's like I think a lot of people hate because it's misplaced aggression because a lot of people are usually unhappy with like what's going on in their lives or whatever. But I think the most healthy thing you can do is acknowledge that.
No, you didn't.
But you can't. That's what you just said though. You literally defined that entire. Like everything you just said, you phrase it in that same along those same lines.
Oh my god, my heart's broken right now.
You okay? You said you hate that you're struggling with whatever financial stuff and that you've had to deal with like EBT and unemployment and whatever, and then you complaining about all the rich people and how they don't, all these big rich people, specifically certain rich people. I'll make sure that I keep that part in there.
You broke my heart. Again.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being for real.
How did I break your heart?
Dude, I'm already in a vulnerable position, okay? I have to find a job before the
You will. You'll
begins,
be fine.
And you're talking to me about finding a job and blah, blah, blah. And we were just talking about this stuff, and I confided in you, and now I'm telling you that I hate people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk because they take advantage of people like, and you're over here telling me I'm just jealous or I just hate to hate.
Well, I'm
like,
again, tell me how I'm wrong. I asked you multiple times and you just said the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
You say like you don't care about them, right? Is what you said.
I have to go make dinner.
Oh no. Skincare routine.
Okay?
You're doing the skincare routine again?
Routine.
Oh no. Rage quitting. This is a new record, dude. All right, man.
Whatever.
I'm sorry if I upset you.
Okay. It's not because of you. I just in general just have
Okay.
to go do some stuff.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I'll
Well,
talk
it's
to
nice talking to
you
you.
later.
All right, man.
All right, cool.
Later. All right. Let's shut that off. I mean, again, I didn't get to talk about what I really wanted to talk. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of my fault, but it's like I feel like I'm gonna have a never-ending list of things that we didn't ever get to go because we get. I think that's kind of the charm though of us talking because um I mostly try to just shut up and listen. I understand that I'm probably not the best at that, but even when I know that like this is nonsense, I'm like, you know what? Let me just let her go for a bit. You know what I mean? And sometimes even though a debate per se or a conversation isn't going the way some people would like it to be, I don't think that it's fruitless. Like I think the display, if anyone ends up watching this shit ever, of the conversation, like just two people speaking in this way, which is very real. Because for one, we're actually talking. We're not texting each other shit like that. I think it's beneficial for other people. I think it's beneficial for me too. And I would like to think that it's beneficial for her as well. I think it probably is, and she doesn't appreciate it maybe, or doesn't like, maybe she doesn't feel that way. I don't know. I haven't really asked her, but I can only make assumptions because she seems to like to give up when things get a little tough or whatever. And it's like, listen, man, it's not my job to like, I'm not saying anything outwardly, like in my opinion anyway, or I think a lot of people would agree that I'm not. And I ask for feedback from people all the time of just like, yo, do you think I was too rough on this? Do you think I was too aggressive? Do you think I was insulting? Like, and then most of the time they say no. Like, usually when I get the opposite of that, like people will tell me that I was being a dick or whatever, it's usually one-on-one. It's usually one person telling me that they have a problem with something that I said to them, which is fine and respectable if you're actually telling me, you know what I mean? But like, I try to be like generous and honest, but I mean, I guess it's just like kind of what happens in the world today, especially on the online and stuff. It's like it depends on what bubble you're in or like what team you're on, all this bullshit. That is really the important thing that determines who's right and who's wrong, right? Which reality is true, right? And it's always the one that like the camp that you're in, like, this is my reality, this is the one that's this is reality. Anyone else who disagrees with what I think or what I agree with isn't in reality. And it's like, and then the other camp or whatever people think it is, because there's obviously no such thing as there being two sides, more than two sides rather. And here I am soldiering on, trying to. I feel like I gotta maybe I'll change the thing now so that I mean, I would love to open the floor and talk to other people because I feel like that's how you really grow and you really get some results. I think it was kind of wild that like he accused me of being slow, like right off the bat. She's like, "Are you slow? You're not paying attention." I'm like, "No, I'm paying attention." I don't know why she got that idea. Kind of, I'm like, because I'm not ranting and running my mouth like a million miles an hour and jumping from topic to topic. I'm like, if that means I'm being slow, then like, hey man, I'm fine with it. Because I feel like I used to be more that way of just like not staying on track, but like, you don't get anything done if you don't actually finish things. Like, you gotta stay on the thing, like really listen to what someone is saying. And like, it makes me wonder like why some people have such an issue with like staying on, they go off on, and I guess it's an emotional thing that becomes like a venting process where it's like, you said this thing that I really disagree with and it hits me at my emotional core. So now the floodgates are open, and all of the things that upset me that are kind of similar to what it was that you said, I'm just gonna fucking vent it all out, and that's why you're wrong. And it's like, no, it's not. That's not. I got no problem being wrong. Make an argument against what I'm saying. Like, it's so crazy that when someone thinks that you're disagreeing with them, and it's like, no, I agree with all these other things, but we're not talking about what I started with, and that's the downside of like letting people go on and on and on, is because it's like we're so far removed from like the beginning of like what we were talking about, like the main topic, like how did, and it's like I see each step along the way of just like, this is not, she went from this topic to this topic, and I'm like, you know what? Oh, now she's moving on to this one, and now she's moving on to this one, and I just kind of let it rock for a bit, because you have to give people the freedom to do that, I think, because you don't want to be the one that just cuts them off hard body right away. And I kind of try that here and there sometimes, because you have to, because she's like, I know it, she's already, or he or whoever you're talking to, they're already going off on like away from the subject, and like I don't know how they don't see that. And I'm just like, I don't get it. You know, I want to have the patience to continue, and I'd like to think that I've been patient and whatever. Like I haven't been emotionally, like I got frustrated once. I think it was the last stream. Was it the last one we were talking about like Rosanna shit? I think it was. But it was because I was like so charitable with like, just all right, I'm just gonna let it rock, whatever. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with what we were talking about, whatever. And then I kind of exploded. But I'm gonna be cringe and change my YouTube stream to debate me. I don't even know if my I can't, I don't, I gotta put my Discord thing. Just even make sure this link still works. Okay, it does. Cool. I mean, I don't mind going into, talking to people in chat, but I doubt that that's going to be very fruitful. I mean, maybe I'll get to a point where I can actually talk about the shit that I wanted to talk about. I love how I was like, this stuff that we didn't even get into the shit that we were supposed to talk about. Which is like, I guess it's fine, whatever. I mean, she hung around for about an hour, which she said was like, I didn't even seem like an hour, so. Some people are just not a fan of talking for longer than that. Unless they're the only one talking, perhaps. Let me not talk like I'm throwing shade, because I'm not, but I'm not trying to. But I didn't even think I was gonna stream today. I didn't really feel like it, but let's see. How do I change this shit? I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get a lot of things why people are the way they are, man. I mean, it always makes me think that, like, you know, some people are just more on the emotional side, and they're only good at they're not only good at, but like more inclined or more in tune with their emotional side, and that can be problematic because it affects your ability to stay focused on things logically. I try not to keep things that simple. Because I like to give people a chance. You know what I mean? Like some people probably don't agree with that, but I do. Like that's if I'm not good at like executing that, okay, but that is my objective. Like that is to have like honest, non-hateful, like cool debate. You know, sometimes things, you know, we all get a little whatever. We all get a little heated, but like, come on, you know, like you know, you gotta lean off of the rhetoric and like the fiery. I don't get it. Like I don't think I ever like get like emotional. I don't remember when was the last time I actually got emotional about like any heated. I guess you can argue like anger. I mean, anger is an emotion or whatever, but like it's usually like very brief and quick because I'm just like, all right, enough. I've heard some shit that I'm just like, yo, you're not listening to what's like what we're talking. You're not staying on whatever shit like that. But like getting to a point where it's like you're like you get like I've never gotten like virtue signally and all this shit. I shouldn't say never, I guess. People are like, oh, never, really, never. But I say most of the time, and I think I've clocked enough hours on these fucking streaming sites that like you can check you can get a good idea, like a good average from like I don't know however many hours are up of me talking to people, and it's like I don't get like angry. And it's like I understand why people get emotional too. Like I feel like maybe I don't do a good enough job. It's so funny. This song started playing. It sounds like extra emo now. What I'm talking about. It's just I don't get it how some people they don't understand me. Shit like that, you know. Maybe I don't do a good enough job. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's what's going on. I'm the worst person ever. I'm the worst. I'm such a poo-poo caca head. You know? Yeah, like I maybe I don't do a good enough job is what I was saying of like appealing. Like I mean I think I try to tell people it's like okay, like if that's what you want to do, if that's how you think, like that's fine, whatever. Like I'm not knocking you for having that opinion, but like say that's what it is, like shit like that. Like if you want to talk about this, we can talk about this, but we're talking about this right now. So it's like, and I feel like that drawing the dividing line of like, okay, we're here and you decided to go over here. That is triggering to some people too. And it's just like, I don't understand how. And I guess it's because people don't like to feel like they're wrong because they're starting out like, oh no, I am grappling with you on this. But it's like when you point out, it's like, no, you're not. You're talking about this, and we're over here. And they're like, oh well, they feel like that makes them look stupid or feel stupid or whatever. And I'm just like, no, like I honestly don't know what else I could do to fucking make people feel more comfortable about that. It's just like. Because letting them rock and they just end up going to Timbuktu with the rants and shit like that or whatever, and that's not conducive to what I'm trying to do here. So I don't really know what else to do except be calm and non judgmental. But I feel like these days, like I can't imagine being like I could be the most like I could say I love you between every fucking 3 words and people will still fucking feel like I'm attacking them, and it's just like what the fuck am I doing? I would love some proof of me fucking attacking someone or me being a dick or whatever. I'm talking so calm. I'm not, just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I hate you or that like I think you're stupid or that like I'm judging you or that I'm saying like I don't understand how that's, I don't know. I feel like it's a cop out to jump to you're just soft type shit, but it's like I fail to see any other option. Like I don't see any other explanations for why people get the way they do. I don't know. One of the craziest things that I think one of the highlights for me in that like hour-long conversation or whatever is the idea of if someone is not 100%, I'm pretty sure this is, I mean, it's still technically paraphrasing, I guess, but I'm pretty sure this is what she said. If you're not 100% with me, you're an enemy. I'm just like, what a fucking thing. What a thing to say. Like, that just completely throws out the window the idea of like tough love or like taking your medicine or whatever. Like, these are, it's like, no, you're saying you want to live in a world where everyone just says, okay, cool, whatever it is you want to do. And it's like, yeah, but not like if I'm trying to hurt other people, whatever. It's like, that's the only thing, really. If you have an idea of hurting other people, that's the only way, that's the only reason you should go against a friend or whatever. It's like, all right, man. I mean, that leaves out so many things. It's like, okay, so if they're willing to hurt themselves, I mean, this is kind of like straw manning, but like, they want to hurt themselves, like, or they just feel eternally sad and they said, you know what, I appreciate it, this is what I choose, you should just let them do it. Again, straw manning, kind of an easy thing, but let's forget about that one. I shouldn't have even brought that one up, just because that's like too fucking easy and ridiculous. But your friend is choosing to stay with someone who is hurting them in certain ways, whatever, but they want to stay with them, and your friend's telling you, you know, I feel like this is still like, this is low hanging, like this is just too easy, whatever. But it's like, there's all sorts of decisions and choices that people make that are not good for themselves, that it takes a strong-willed friend and a strong will within yourself to be like, you know what, this is very difficult, but I need to stop doing this. And this is like a very like postmodern, like Gen Z type shit, where it's like, I want to do whatever the fuck I want to do, and you should just embrace. So if I want to be morbidly obese, you're not allowed to judge me or whatever. And it's like, okay, so you're allowed to make the personal choice to be obese, which I agree with wholeheartedly. If you want to kill yourself by getting insanely fat, I'm not going to stop you. But if you think that I'm going to coddle you and be like, yes, queen, and finger snap and all this shit, yes, that's amazing, we need to elevate this voice because there are other people who are killing themselves by becoming morbidly obese, you got another thing coming. That's an insane thing to do. That's like telling your friend, like, yes, queen, yes, shoot that heroin, yes, it's, you will, I doubt anyone can give me any fucking argument against the correlation between these two things. You're doing the same fucking thing, just not as fast. So, or sometimes it's fast. Sometimes people already have like fucking heart problem, diabetes, whatever, and they still fucking eat themselves to death. It's the same way as fucking drunks. It's the same way as alcohol, drug addicts. It's the same way as all kinds of shit that people like. People do all kinds of things that are obviously, but it's like, you know what I think makes it difficult is because a lot of people have like a fetish for like fat people and stuff like that, and that gets conflated and thrown into the mix where I think it shouldn't be, which is interesting because the people who are usually part of the yes positivity, body positivity shit, blah blah blah, they'll acknowledge the fact that like you shouldn't fetishize people. But it's like, how do you determine what someone's fetish is versus what just something that they're into, that they find attractive or whatever? So it's okay to find very, very fat people sexually attractive, but it's also not okay if you're fetishizing them. Like, how is it a fetish? Like, how do you determine what someone else's feelings are? Why is it up to you to determine that it's a fetish for them? Isn't that up to them to decide? Like, what, like, that shit doesn't even make sense to me. The fetishization argument versus we should be putting people who are often fetishized. So it's like, should we be putting like people in wheelchairs on cover? Like, should everyone, like, should we be fighting like every magazine has to have a quota of like, you have to have a certain amount of brown people, black people, handicapped people, fat people, gay people, all this shit, like trans people. You have to have a quota. And I think a lot of people would argue yes, that there should be, or they'll pretend that that's not what they're saying, but it is. Well, we don't think you should force people. It's like that's what we were supposed to talk about. It's like the idea of like affirmative action and shit like that, and what's going on with like the the Supreme Court stuff and all this shit. I mean, I guess I'm not missing much because it's a rehash of like the fucking abortion thing where people think that it's like about morals or whatever, and it's like no, it's just about like the legal argument of like what should be. I mean, in this case, it's like yo, just you can't factor in race in this or whatever. People are like, well, why? We love factoring race into shit, which is basically them admitting that they're racist because that's the original definition of racism. Now it's been remixed and reworded and all this shit because that's what people do. They don't like what you say. They don't like how words sound or how certain words are being used to make them feel blah 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 blah. So let's just fucking change it. We get to change the definitions or change the words. You can't call people retarded anymore. You have to call them this. You can't call whatever. There's no such thing as like just being gay anymore. It's like no, there's a whole other fucking plethora of shit because everyone needs their little fucking, their little hug, their little like warmth. Oh, I need to know that everything is about me for a second. So I need a word and terms and fucking hell. Anyway, what are you gonna do, right? I don't even know if I want to. I mean, I gotta pee, so. Yeah, I'll be right back. Every kind of memory with strings that tie to you. What are we doing? Now, the downside of putting that splash up for the be right back thing is that it stays in your fucking thumbnail for a while. Damn it. Maybe it goes away faster than I thought. Let me see. Let me refresh. Nope. Fuck. Well, I mean, I don't know how often it like refreshes, but oh wow. So this is like, this is crazy. All right. So I watched a bit of this on
literally Friday.
whatever, however, was it Monday, I think, maybe Sunday. Sitch and Adam had Anna Kasparian on, and I praised her. I think a lot of people are praising her for this, for going on and having like an honest discussion with them where she's talking about like the weird kind of space she's in, considering she's on this like, you know, super like left wing program, and you know she's been doing it for a long time, but there's a lot of like things that have been happening that have been morphing her views on things, and
We started talking a little bit,
and she actually was saying some pretty cool. So I didn't get to finish it, I don't think, but so it's these two guys, Stitch and Adam, talking to Anna Kasparian. But now this is a thing that happens on YouTube a lot, where it's like you'll have someone like me talking into a camera and reviewing like a conversation between like two other people, let's say, but then it's like, all right, now it's three people, and now you have another guy reviewing it. You have a guy reviewing another guy reviewing a conversation between three other people. So now I'm like 5 times removed, like, if that's maybe not the right wording, but like I'm the 5th person. It's like originally it was 2 people talking with 1 person, and now it's Destiny reviewing 2 people talking to 1 person, and now it's me reviewing Destiny reviewing 2 people talking to 1 person, which is hilarious. So it's like it's like watching like a thread on Twitter get out of control, and it's just way too many people, you know.
For the show.
Oh wait, is it Helltide?
Open to talking about a lot of things. You seem to be going through kind of a political transformation, evolution. I don't really know the right word to call it, but I'll let you talk about that. But first of all, people want to know, because you did mention in our little chat in DMs that
I thought it was like the least controversial thing I'd ever said in my entire life. It was so obviously self-defense, and then I closed it, and then
If someone's hitting you over the head with a skateboard, that could kill you, you know? And so, you know, Jenkins he's a strong-minded person, and he's not one to back down from a fight. So in his mind, you know, someone confronts you with a skateboard, he doesn't see it as a threat, but I do. And Rittenhouse is
17-year-old boy,
burly guy who can like defend himself against someone who's like hitting him over the head with a skateboard as he's lying on his back. So once I saw all those details, first of all, I had to convey them to my audience and be
She gets a lot of her stuff from blocked and reported at Accuracy Signal.
The other thing was, you know, there was
what's
a
going on
lot
with
of
this? Is it done?
about how Kyle Rittenhouse was in possession of an illegal weapon and that he crossed state lines with that illegal weapon. Okay?
Yep.
So that was a lie. And it's not a lie that I just made up in my mind, right? That was how it was reported initially, which is why I would mention the state lines, but not because, oh, how dare he cross state lines. Anyone in this country has the right to cross state lines. It was because it was reported that he was in possession of an illegal gun, and he traveled across state lines with an illegal gun, which is a serious charge. But it turned out that he did not travel across state lines with that weapon.
Yeah, he didn't do that. Yeah, the weapon was in.
Oh, because he picked it up
the area
in
already.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wish you would lower the fucking volume of these games. It's like it's like you're reviewing 3 people talking, and then you have this loud ass fucking game playing. Like it's fucking annoying.
From a friend when he was already in Wisconsin.
The night of that event, I mean, maybe
Also, I feel like I should be covering like his fucking chat, because I think even his channels get in trouble because like people say some fucking retarded shit in there in his chat. So I can just make my face bigger. Just make me bigger to cover his chat, because his chat is fucking wild. There we go. I'm just gonna do that. That's the easy way to do it.
The day afterwards, Sitch and I were watching those videos online as they were breaking out, and I saw the reporting was basically wrong on CNN the night the viral videos were released. Don Lemon was saying,
Don Lemon,
you know, a white kid shoots into a crowd
Yep.
of Black Lives Matter protesters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yep.
That's what Vosh said too, remember?
So
He was literally laying on his ass, firing shots at people 20 feet away who weren't even moving towards him.
Hold on. Can somebody please link the video so that we can watch it? Have you watched that video?
I mean, I've watched, I think, that video, yeah.
Wow. So that right there tells you, the way he said that tells you that he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Because it's like, I think I kind of watched some of it, like a little bit, kind of like I think I watched it. Please don't destroy me. I'm sorry, I lied. You know.
Somebody link the second video so that we can watch it together, because I have no idea what the you were talking about. Hold on.
Ooh, yeah, this was like a momentous occasion. This debate between them, like on this shit, because, and this was like in the middle, I think, of the whole. Yeah, this is like even before the trial ended. Because this, I mean, Vosh is no stranger to fucking horrible brain dead takes, but, and also he's like likely a fucking sex offender, so, he's just a bad person with very ill working brain, very ill functioning brain, very very intellectually dishonest, very bad faith, and thinks that he has like the biggest cock in the world, when in reality he is the biggest cock in the world.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying so hard because you're being so dishonest.
Wow, how perfect is that? That's exactly how I've been feeling.
Okay.
Just spraying into a crowd or whatever.
And everyone just kind of gets caught up in it.
Yeah, and that's how misinformation spreads. And that was a pivotal moment for me, because, again, misinforming the audience is not something I have any interest in. And I might give them the facts and they might not like it.
Really wish I could lower his game volume.
I can't withhold information from them because I'm afraid that they might not like it. So I'm going to give them the facts. But, you know, I've learned to be better
Gonna give them the
about,
back?
first of all, the sources I trust. I make an effort to just be cognizant of the filter bubbles we all exist in, the filter bubbles I exist in. And I've broken through that bubble a little bit to, you know, look at other sources that I typically wouldn't have looked at. And then the other thing that I do now is I just wait. You know, I think the story involving the so-called city bike Karen is a good example of that.
Yeah.
The main show,
my God.
CYT consists of many different shows, right?
The
The show that I'm the
based.
executive producer and host of is the main flagship show.
I need a
The Young
based,
Turks.
like I need to make like a based like soundboard sound effect thing, like based. I'll just grab one that says bass. I remember I played like a keyboard in like a Guitar Center or something, and it had like a bunch of random samples. It was like very 90s-esque, and they had a sample on there that was like bass. And I'm like, I need that, and I'm just gonna hopefully people think that it says that he's saying based, because that shit would be, or I'll just make one myself of me actually saying based.
And prior to that story breaking,
Because she did say it, like she's based as fuck in this interview. Like she's fucking cooking, bro. And I think she's gonna do some very interesting things. I said this the other day when I started watching this shit, because you sense it in like her rhetoric, and like she's acting very unleftist, like, which is like she's admitting her wrongs, especially because she's already been proven to be blatantly wrong about things, and that's fine. It's everyone makes mistakes, blah, 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 but it's like, do you acknowledge that you fucked up? No? Okay. Well, now you lose credibility, because basically everyone can see, aside from other people who are inept at fucking admitting when they're wrong, or who are tribalistic or whatever, intellectually dishonest. People, they need you to be that way. They need to believe that you're being honest, and part of that is admitting, like, okay, seems like a bunch of people are calling me out on something. Let me do my research, and oh, it turns out the information, the facts tell me that what I said was wrong. So let me cop to that because I don't want to lose credibility or whatever. And like whether she changed her mind and became more open-minded because she finally admitted or she finally realized that, you know, enough people were saying the same thing of like, yo, you're fucking wrong, you're fucking wrong, you're fucking wrong. And she's like, okay, you know what, I might be wrong. But there's tons of people who are like, it doesn't matter how many people fucking tell them. They're just gonna, anyone who says that they're wrong or is not 100% on their side, they're just gonna block them, or they're just gonna be like, go fuck yourself, or you're a piece of shit, you're a horrible person, you're a Nazi, you're a fat, all this like corny, played out, like lazy antics that people do just because they're like intellectually dishonest and like they don't see things, they don't care about anything other than what they're feeling. They don't care about the reality. They can't imagine a world where the facts disagree with what they're fucking saying, even if all the fucking news media actually says, hey, this is what actually happened. They're like, nope, well, that's fucking, it's like, it's cult shit, you know? So shout out to her for not being in a fucking cult, because everyone else on that fucking channel on TYT seems to be in a fucking cult. I think it is, they're a cult in a cult.
I had a meeting with my team and I was like, listen, I don't want you guys pitching stories about random individuals in the country who are caught in an out of context video allegedly behaving badly. I think these stories are divisive. I don't think we usually have.
I need that sample too, Michael Jackson. Allegedly.
Have the full details before we talk about these stories. And honestly, at the end of the day, engaging in these witch hunts is actually
detrimental,
causing more division and hate in the country than anything else. So like, if there's a story that's particularly like jarring and you guys really do want to cover it,
do I want to join a party? I don't think so, right? Is there any point in joining a party?
Like, we are not in the business of breaking news. I don't give a shit about being the first in reporting the story or whatever.
No, because then my account's not solo anymore. I shouldn't know, right?
We actually report it correctly, and we don't have.
Is he even listening to this? Like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, this story. She tells a story about how she was attacked by some dude, and it's pretty fucked up. Extremists drive people like Hesperian away.
Cause and effect for why Anna is changing the way that she is. People on the very, very far left won't listen, but if you're more center left, or if you're far left but at least you're reasonably minded, you can start to get an idea of how toxic the way that extremists engage with political ideology can drive people away from your movements. You can't relentlessly shit on people, call them racist, refuse to acknowledge reality. Like, she's hitting almost every single talking point here in terms of like not even a talking point for her, it's her lived experience. She's hitting in her lived experience every single talking point I've given for why you lose people from your political movements.
Nebraska politics.
I'm good, Dustin. Thank you, though. For instance, like, conservatives feel the way they do because oftentimes they've seen something. Even if it's not representative of reality, people will see things that will make people feel a certain type of way about things. Being really shitty towards people, not giving them any type of grace, not giving them room to grow, not giving them gentle landings, any of these things, these are ways to turn people off from your political movements. Right. People don't want to change your mind or believe you or listen to you if you're going to shit on them for you know, slowly changing your mind.
Wow, that's so crazy, because like I basically just said all of this like before I even started watching this video. It's like these are things that you just like notice is part of like being in this space of just like arguing with people and shit like that. It's just like they're gonna make ad hom attacks on you. They're gonna insult you, and like just because they're mad that you're making they'd rather do that, or they actually do that whether they realize it or not, because they hate the fact that you're making a good point. You know what I mean? And I feel like the fact that I feel like that like people who are emotionally prone, like the spazzing and all that shit, like the fact that you're not doing that as well, that you're not getting emotionally charged, bothers them, because they're just like, yo, why are you not getting mad? I'm getting mad. So it's like, what? It's like, this person's better at me than, it's like, yeah, but that's not a conscious thing. Like, I'm not like, it's not like I'm actually getting emotional or whatever. Like, I might have some aspects of my character that are just like like just naturally part of my character, right? Where it's like I used to be very emotionally charged, then I grew the fuck up in that regard. Like, it's not worth getting angry. I just got bored with it. It's not fruitful. It's not healthy. And I'm not immune to that shit. I'm not saying I never get that way, but you know, you just learn that naturally over time. It's like, what's the point of me fucking crying and like and yelling at people? Because it's like, that's not, has nothing to do with like, especially if someone's being like polite to me, you know what I mean? Like, you can be polite and make a good point and prove me wrong on something, but the fact is, like, when you do that to certain people, they take that as like you're insulting them, and it's like, how? Why do you take this so personally? I'm just asking you questions, and I'm just pointing out that what you're saying isn't making any sense. That's not the same thing as me saying you're a stupid fucking idiot. It's like, I'm not doing any of that. I never do any of that. So it's like, you just resent the fact that people are not catering to you being wrong, and people are not pretending you're right when you're wrong. You know, like, what, like, it's such a weird fucking, like, psychotic almost, like super self-centered fucking ideology that people subscribe to, where it's like, anytime someone pushes back on me, or like, pause, anytime someone like gives me any kind of challenge to what I'm saying, no matter how nice they say it, that's an attack on my character, and this is unhealthy, and this is triggering, and it's like, is there, okay, so just do whatever the fuck you want then. Do whatever the fuck you want, and I guess there should be no repercussions for anything you say or do. Like, that's just how the world should work. That's like, fuck me, right? Fuck me. You agreed to have a conversation with me, but the second I said something that you didn't like, fucking fuck me, right? Fuck me. Can't say anything. Unless I'm 110%, 167,000% in agreement with you. I gotta fucking yes queen you, no matter what the fuck you say. It's like, what you're saying is fucking retarded. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that's the reality. I'm sorry that you say stupid things. The best I can do is not say exactly what I just said. Which is why I don't say it. When someone says something retarded, in my head, I'm like, you're fucking stupid. Like, what you're saying is stupid. You're saying stupid things. You sound like a fucking idiot. But I don't say it because I'm like, that's not conducive. Like, you have to be honest and fucking productive in how you debate with someone or talk with someone, because it's like that'll shut everything down. The second you go off the deep end and start calling names and saying, you know, drawing from stereotypes and like attacking someone for being a certain race or whatever, or certain ethnicity, like, all bets are off, bro. You lost already, because it's like, you're not talking about what we're supposed to be talking about. You're mad because I fucking pointed out the fact that what you're saying doesn't make any sense. Why do people not? I don't understand how some people can't do this. I really don't. I think it really is just about like, so funny how I said it. Like, I don't know why, but I think this is why. So funny. The only hypothesis I have is that, like, people, it's like they're using their heart more than their brains. And I think some people, it's just like, no matter what you do, no matter what their experiences are, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I feel like some people are just wired a certain way where they're just like, it's just not, it's very, 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 very difficult for them to not let their emotions overshadow their logical thought processes. Like, it's like, it's not even a fucking question. It's like, this is how I feel. And it's like, okay, we should talk about this stuff. Like, I could just pretend that I'm agreeing with you as much as possible. How does that benefit anyone? Okay. Which is why I thought it was like, you know, and I still think it's a good idea to talk to people on an ongoing basis who think very differently than you. And I'm being generous in my wording here, but I think that's very good to fucking to continually try to speak to certain people, even when they consistently show that they are not capable of having, like, for one, staying on track, but two, being intellectually honest and not being prone to, like, getting emotional about things. At least, I mean, it's okay to get emotional as long as you're staying on track. You know what I mean? Like, and your emotions can fuel your logical, you know, if you do it in a way that makes sense. I mean, to me, I think there's a limit, but whatever. And vice versa too. Like, your logical thought can kind of affect your emotions in good ways and bad. But I mean, even when you're talking to someone who's like not very, very good at these things, it's like, I think it's still worth trying. You know what I mean? Because even when people, like, I've had people say worse things to me in, you know, in debates and in personal, you know, experiences and shit like that. And it doesn't really affect me. It's just like, because when you come to accept the fact that, like, it's like second nature when you realize that you spend a certain amount of time, you know, hundreds of hours talking to basically no one on the internet or whatever. You get used to, like, kind of like the dynamics of people getting nasty with each other, because that's just kind of what happens when you do this shit. Like, I've had people pop in, like, people who don't even know me, like, just strangers and shit, and just make weird, like, random, probably just to try and get a rise out of me, like a reaction or whatever. Some of them are probably disgruntled ex-girlfriends or girls who wanted to be my girlfriend or some shit like that, or just unhealthy people. And you know, you quickly see it, and you're like, and I wish, like, my old streams were still online, because you could see me do it. Like I won't point any attention to it. And I never really, I used to have my chat on screen, but there's times where people have said shit and I literally just look at the chat and I see them say some stupid shit like, you love to be women, like some stupid shit, you know, you like to get fucked by aliens, and I'm just look at it and just back to business. So I'm like, I'm not gonna give you what you want, you know what I mean? Especially if you're just like a bad faith, like, stranger, you know, just trying to fucking get a rise out. It's like, the best thing you can do is just, you know, and you understand what it is logically. It's like shit like that, you know? Like, when you work in retail for so long, a lot of people don't get better at it. I got better at it, and I worked in a lot of service jobs and shit like that, and you get a lot of fucking crybaby entitled people. And you realize that, like, when they're not getting what they want, it's usually because they're used to getting what they want and they're having a little fucking titty attack about it. Or they're having a bad day and they're taking it out on you or whatever. So it's like, I don't excuse it. I don't let it go unchecked or whatever, but it usually never really affects me. And I've had people say some wild shit, and I've seen certain people, I've seen strangers say shit to people that I worked with, and I just kind of sat back because I'm like, I'm not going to be the Superman to come in and save the day or whatever. But sometimes I would. There was one guy I worked at, when this is a long time ago. I was working at this eyewear place, and there was this chick who was like pretty cunty to me a lot of the time I was there. Very emotionally unstable, but mostly like a pretty nasty, like, sassy chick or whatever. And this guy came in and he was like super obvious that he's like either insane, like he's got, like, he didn't take his medication or something like that, and or he was on cocaine. And he was asking her for something, and she was like, not really. I mean, she wasn't the smartest person in the world, but she wasn't giving him what he wanted, apparently. And he looks at me and he's like, yo, what the fuck is this dumb bitch talking about? And in my head I was like, ah, and I was fucking dying. And I was like, but I mean, before that I was like, yo, you're wild, bro, talking to a lady like this or whatever. But then I factored it in. I was like, oh, she's a piece of shit. So I'm just like, if she wasn't a piece of shit, I would have been like, hey man, yo, take that shit outside, yo, don't talk like that, you know? And I have done that. But or I'll be like, yo, if you know, I understand you're upset, but if you're gonna talk like that, like, we can't help you. You can come back when you're not gonna be this way, you know? But I remember her standing there like frozen. He was like, what the fuck is this dumb bitch talking about? I think he said stupid bitch. He's like, what the fuck is this stupid bitch talking about? And I was just like, that's you. And she just kind of stood there, and she, you know, she got upset and stuff. And I was just like, sounds like you sounds like you got a little what you needed to fucking hear. You know what I mean? And in that moment, I was a feminist. Anyway, do I want to even keep watching this dumb shit? I don't know.
This idea that you're either with us completely or you're
completely... Oh, it sounds like he lowered the game. Maybe it's because he's not fighting. That's
against us. The idea that if you don't toe the line...
Wow, he said exactly fucking what I was just saying a little while ago. Dude, that's crazy. Like, listen to this.
You or listen to you if you're gonna.
Like, I should make like a I should just cut like what I said like before I even watched this and what he's saying in this is nuts.
Oftentimes they've seen something, even if it's not representative of reality. People will see things that will make people feel a certain type of way about things. Being really shitty towards people, not giving them any type of grace, not giving them room to grow, not giving them gentle landings, any of these things, these are ways to turn people off from your political movements. People don't want to change your mind or believe you or listen to you if you're going to shit on them for slowly changing your mind. This idea that you're either with us completely or you're completely against us. The idea that if you don't toe the line 100%, now you're a racist, now you're a fascist, now you're going to the Daily Wire, now you're blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Like, it's
facts.
The misreporting of facts. Oh, that she hit that too. That if you misreport something, if you lie about something, or the feeling is you're lying or obscuring something, once you've done that one time, it makes somebody question every single thing that you've said. So, yeah, like all of these things, it's interesting that like all of these things are being hit on basically in her, are being hit. I don't know what that tweet is. I just got linked. Sorry, fuck, I can't reach it. Hold on, I'm gonna get blown up by this stupid shit. Sorry. Okay.
Because I personally want to be called a woman. So, I mean,
I'm not sure that they fully understand the damage that accusation can do. And if they do, that makes it even more.
They understand.
Okay.
They understand.
I mean, that makes it even more horrible. I think she published.
Are there only 2 175 chests you can open?
Saying the N-word, and it was back when YouTube didn't have this big prohibition on saying the N-word, and you weren't. It's not like you were calling people the N-word. You were using quoting stories. So all of these are taken out of context, which is completely unfair.
Yeah, I mean, look, so it's really funny because that compilation video wasn't made by her. If you guys remember, at some point last year, everyone was going after Rogan for saying the N-word. And so someone on the left had made a compilation video of all the times he had said the N-word on his podcast. And then in response to that, someone on the right made a compilation of all the times like I had said the N-word, right? Or me and Jenk had said the So someone on the right made that video. And we had a company meeting, the producers, everyone, we got together, and this is like years and years ago. The last time we actually uttered that word on air was in 2012. But we sat down and we talked about whether we should actually say the word when we're quoting someone that we are condemning as racist, or should we sanitize it and say N-word instead? And so we had a vote, and we decided at the time that it was better to actually read the quotes verbatim as opposed to sanitizing it. And I knew it would eventually come back to bite me in the ass. And it did. And I'm not going to apologize for it. Because
N-word enjoyer, yes!
And what people like
she must be binging my content. She has to be.
Right? To make it seem as though intention is totally irrelevant, context is totally irrelevant. If she says someone's racist, then by definition, that person is racist. End of story, period. And I just disagree. I also disagree with racism of all sorts, right? So I find it disgusting when people make generalizations about Black people or migrants or any group. Why would I somehow be okay making generalizations about white women or white people, right?
True.
So I find it gross and divisive. And look, at the center of all of this is I've been doing this shit for like 17 years, and things have gotten worse. And I just don't think whatever strategy the left thinks they're engaging in is an effective strategy. I think it's actually caused more harm than good. I think their rhetoric and their discourse is a lot of times ignorant of the facts.
True.
And I think that they go around accusing people of doing things that they themselves engage in.
True.
And I was part of that too. I'm trying to do better moving forward. But a lot of people are going to look at this and think, oh, well, then that means she's a right-winger. Whatever. You can call it whatever you want. I don't care what you label me as.
Whatever we want.
But
just
my ninja.
Don't call me a birthing person. A person with a uterus. Yeah, exactly.
I don't blame you at all. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what my labels are at this point because I don't fit in anywhere. I feel like
you
same.
Feel like you're becoming politically homeless, maybe a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think's causing sort of this shift in the left and in media? Or I mean, first of all, I'm assuming you think there is a shift that's happening in the left and in media.
Well, it's funny because, you know, a lot of them, LARP is like anti-capitalist, like revolutionaries or whatever.
LARP, okay.
LARP.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
Imagine
it's
she
true.
brings up Hassan.
And so it's really
She
funny
would never, but-
because what they do is they are positioning themselves to attract a very specific niche in audiences, right? So they're going for the purists, the people who like to think of themselves as like far left, communist, socialist, whatever. But like the whole thing is, I mean, you can see it in the various streams. Like they'll talk about things through the lens of we're the most pure. Like we're the most
Damn, she's saying some fucking
sincere in what we're
she's
saying.
spitting
Whatever.
facts,
Like,
bro.
Exactly, we're the real left. So when they do that, what ends up happening is they become more and more extreme in what they are saying, right? In what they claim to believe.
Shit, dude.
And at the heart of that, like what they're actually doing is trying to attract a niche audience for what? To make money. Like it's, I think there's a financial motive behind it. You know, they're competing with one another for you know, particular niche.
His reaction is so
to
extra.
make money. What's happening is they become more and more extreme in what they are saying, here in what we're saying, whatever.
The real
and
left.
like, exactly, we're the real left. So when they do that, what ends up happening is they become more and more extreme in what they are saying, right? In what they claim to believe. And at the heart of that, like what they're actually doing is trying to attract a niche audience for what? To make money. Like it's, I think there's a financial motive behind it. You know, they're competing with
Fucking
one another
stupid.
for you know, a particular niche, a particular ideology that's reflected in these audiences. And I think
stupid.
I'm probably self-sabotaging right now, career-wise. But I don't know. I just the problem is
You
once
see it in their
see certain things,
streams.
you can't unsee
Which
them.
Hey,
stream?
can someone
And
in the chat tell me what time
I can't-
2100 is supposed to be
I
in normal
can't
human
just
time?
lie. I can't do it with a straight face. It's just not who I am.
What do you mean? Are you talking self-sabotaging by talking to us or talking about these things in general? Because I like it's an interesting dynamic that we have here on the internet, because I do agree with you, and we've talked about this on the show many times. Like the incendiary voices in the political space are the ones that get attention, blow their channels up, get views.
Yeah.
Does anybody else think that Anna Kasparian is an uppity, stupid bitch?
Whoa. That's not necessary. That kind of talk. What the hell is that all about?
What a wild thing for a left-leaning person to say.
Word.
So stupid. Head Anna Kasparian is going on right-wing shithole shows and trying to call out the leftist mafia over their support for trans rights. Who the does this uppity, stupid bitch think she is?
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Wait, who is
What
that?
the
Yeah, I don't even know who that chick is. But...
Bro.
Become rich.
That's how it is, though.
Basically.
Yeah.
Conflict entrepreneurs is what I always call them. And we're in a kind of a, you know, we are in the same kind of position that you've kind of
Can you clarify your use of words that replaced the N-word? It sounded like you gave some WoW player a hard time for using the words naga. I don't give a fuck. I don't care that much about racial slurs. Generally, what I focus on is people being racist. If you're like calling people racial slurs, I think it's bad. I super don't care. There's so many other things I'd rather talk about, and it's like
they're saying that I super don't care. That's so good.
like the most boring thing is like playing 20 questions, like figuring out if somebody's racist because of a word they use it on. It's pretty easy. In my opinion, it's pretty easy to tell if somebody's racist or not based on what they're saying. If you gotta like hunt through like whether or not
I think that's a super fucking true. That's a super true statement. Like, there's this idea that's perpetuated with, especially with like the, what do you call it? Like the, like CRT types and shit, where there's like they have this very like specific, like very malleable view of like what racism is and shit like that, and just like, well, even if you're not like being racist, like you're outwardly racist, like you could still be racist, and it's like, okay, the fuck are we talking about here? You know what I mean? This whole thing of just like taking advantage, like people give you an inch and they take a mile, you know, like I think that's very true. Where it's like you You can genuinely tell. Like I really doubt there are that many fucking like closet like literal KKK like Nazi-ish types, like wannabes, like people who are assholes, and they're just hiding it because like whatever. And it's like if it really means that much to you, like you're not gonna hide that shit. You know what I mean? Because it'll show in your actions. Like there's no point to be that way, right? Like there's no you can't bitch about like systemic stuff or whatever on either side, because this is actually an argument that like the KKK types make as well, which is like there's systemic bullshit going on, right? Like they think that there's like systemic stuff that like marginalizes white people or whatever. And to be honest, there is. But that doesn't prove their overall point, which is like that the gene pool is being tainted, and there's no way that people who are not white can live in harmony with white people, like shit like this, just stupid shit that they believe in or whatever. But like, let's say their bosses or something, they might not hire something like, okay, whatever. If it's your business, like, you know, that's your business. You know what I mean? Like it's a pretty shitty way to do business, especially when we live in an incredibly like diverse country or whatever. But it's like, okay, fine. You're going to live in a certain area where it's like you're going to have a hard time. And probably if you continue shit like that and you act in ways that align with your weird, insane, racist rhetoric, your business is probably going to fail unless you're in an insanely weird pocket like there. And there are those pockets, keyword being pockets. Not the entire country. Like a lot of people think everyone is racist. There's no such thing as anyone who's not racist. Everyone's racist except for black people. And it's like, okay, all right, this is the game you're playing. Okay, all right, goodbye.
They use like the soft A or some shit. I just think it's cringe. I've never cared about that. I understand other people care a lot about that, but I've never cared about that. Destiny, see, this is what I'm talking about. The disgusting lifespan by the left is more prevalent than the right. Bro, you literally have a death cult over there that thought the vaccine was going to turn you into magnets, okay? Shut the fuck up. Bro, you have no place to talk. That Andrea person is live watching this podcast episode right now. Get her into a call. Who is the Andrea person? Unhinged, puritanical leftist unloads rage on Anna Kasparian's right-wing
Andrea
term.
Ravensky.
This type of person would never, ever... I can already tell they would never talk to me. But if they want to, I'd do it.
That's so crazy because like he's saying because you know Destiny's a very controversial figure for different reasons, right? Like because he's pretty left leaning. Like it's a weird combination between like, I mean, I don't think he has any radical views per se. I think he's mostly like a left wing like establishment type. Like he gets his balls broken a lot for being like super. Like he's an actual like Biden supporter, and he thinks that like Biden, like it doesn't seem like he really pays attention. I mean, I haven't seen it, but the few times that I've seen him talk about Biden, he seems to really think that like Biden is actually doing stuff. And it's like, well, we can talk about like his cabinet and like his people, but it's like, you really think that Biden is like knows like where the fuck he is at any given moment? Like you actually think he's getting up early and going to his office and actually reading shit and comprehending it? Like the guy, you can see it when the way this guy speaks and moves around. This guy doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And for someone who is usually like pretty fucking honest and like intellectually sound like Destiny, it's weird to like I don't know if anyone has really challenged him, and I'm not gonna spend money to fucking debate him. Because that's how his system works, which is like kind of bullshit. But like I think it's really cool that he has his own independent like stream set up on his website and his own community and shit. And I checked out his like Discord, and it's like pretty active. He's got a lot going on there, but there's a lot of like fucking usual like corniness that happens on Discord. But you have to pay a certain amount. Like I think you have to pay for like the base amount for his subscription plans in order to like get the ability to talk to him, which is like, I mean, that's still a pretty big pool, I guess, because he has a lot of users, but it's like there's a lot of kids and like younger folks that like probably want to actually not converse with him as a fan or whatever, but like actually talk to him and ask him questions and shit. And I think like putting that paywall there for that is like kind of bullshit. I mean, but that's his prerogative. Like that, you know, good for him. Like I'm sure he's doing. I mean, he seems like he's doing pretty well. So good for him. But yeah, the Biden thing, I'm just like, I maybe have to search for it. I don't know, but it's weird that he like has this like faith, like he actually believes. Like it's like, all right, man.
Like we want to give an honest, a fair assessment of both sides of the argument and try to kind of come to some sort of truth. And one of the paths that I think we've kind of fell into is just, I think us, Sitch and I, arguing points makes it interesting enough that we can kind of build an audience. And watching the videos of you last week, it kind of feels like that's kind of the direction you're going. It seems like Jank is saying over-the-top things, and you're reeling him in, which is, I got to tell you, when I'm watching your show, I'm going, oh, look, Anna is just like Sitch.
Tipping in America is crazy. I went to a Starbucks recently, and I ordered a croissant. And then the barista spun the machine around. It said, do you want to tip? And then I asked her, I said, do people normally tip here at Starbucks? And she said to me, yeah, people tip if they want to be nice.
If they want to be nice?
And then she said it with a voice where it was sort of an attitude. And then I said, okay, well, if I tip, do I get a blowjob?
You said that?
And for how long? Long story short, she actually called the cops.
Wow.
They pushed me away. I remember thinking that I would have actually tipped her if she wasn't such a bitch. You know, and that's actually Alpha King rule number 14.
Oh, God. The fucking grifter shit.
Bees with honey in a beehive.
So stupid.
I can't tell if this is real or not.
Yeah, no, he's dead ass. Those guys are so fucking cringe. God damn, her ass is crazy.
Jank have any fun?
Are you saying you're the one saying over-the-top things?
Look, constantly. And Sitch is like no, Adam, you know that we don't know that yet. So, but I think our audience understands that there's a little bit of a dynamic going there. That's fun, but at the same time, they are getting the information. So, unfortunately for my reputation, it's like, don't listen to Adam. You know, he's always
right.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, again, credit to Jank because he's not like one of these like people who get super offended if you correct him right there on the spot. It's just, I kind of went along with some of the more hyperbolic commentary, mostly because I was reading the same sources and I had the same.
God damn.
You know, I think he's doing better and better. Like we have a lot of conversations about a lot of these issues privately, and I'll just be like, look.
So Sitch does the same thing to me.
Yeah. And I'll just be like, look. I mean, before he was gonna go, he asked me if I thought it was a good idea that he was gonna go debate Destiny, and I said no. And it's mostly because
I might just be thinking too highly of myself now, but it's kind of funny. When this clip was originally linked to me, it seemed like Anna was like shit-talking me. She was like, don't debate Destiny, it's a waste of your time. But now when I look back on this whole interview, it almost seems like she's like ribbing Jank, because she's like, you're way wrong on this. But I could be reading that wrong, but that's kind of what it feels like now. It's like, don't debate him because you're way off on the Rittenhouse stuff. That's what it seems like, yeah.
I see a lot of clickbaity stuff going on in that realm too, like with some of the debate stuff that takes place. But also I asked him, like, what are you guys going to debate? So first he said, oh, we're going to talk about like the Democratic Party and our disagreements about it. I was fine with that. But then he mentioned, he's like, and then we're going to talk about Rittenhouse. And you probably,
so
yeah,
so he knew Rittenhouse was going to come up.
Yeah. I think they agreed on the topics ahead of time.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
And you know, we had a look. Jake is his own man. The best I can do is share my perspective. And I just told him, I was like, but he was acting in self-defense. And he's like, but look, Jake just has a different perspective. It is what it is. Like, I'm not here to talk shit about Jake. You know, like we and again, I want to give him credit because we can have the conversation on air, this exact conversation. And he's going to say the exact same thing. I'm going to say my piece. And it's not going to lead to like an uncomfortable relationship with him. It's not going to lead to retaliation. And I really commend him for having an open mind. But to him, he just couldn't he just disagrees about it being self-defense. He thinks like he didn't need to like shoot the gun, he didn't need to kill people. I hear you. I wish it didn't end that way. But if I were in his shoes, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. I probably would have prayed and sprayed. So I mean, Rittenhouse did the right thing. Like, it's a good thing he was in control of the weapon instead of me. So
yeah,
it's funny that like this gets thrown around a lot. Like, people accuse you of grifting or other people of grifting when they start changing their beliefs, even though it's like you're changing your beliefs in a way that would like be more likely to hurt your career.
Twitter.
Oh yeah, I'm tagging the shit out of her.
Why so mean?
Why so mean? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
Arguments are on.
Hello?
Wow, hello.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right.
Well, what's up? I saw you were attacking my queen of politics, Anna Kasparian, on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I'm tagging the shit out of her.
Why so mean?
Why so mean? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Let me turn your volume up. I don't know. I like being mean sometimes. It's kind of fun.
Okay. Is there like a rational basis behind the meanness, or do you think she's incorrect in anything she said?
You got problems?
Yeah, I did a whole like kind of review of the whole podcast. I'm assuming you just saw the tweet, but I did a whole video responding to all kinds of the stuff.
Oh, is he talking? Is this the fucking the Andrea broad? Holy crap!
I think I've made it. I'm only 40 minutes through right now. But what do you think? I guess what are some of the things that you heard her say that you believe were incorrect? I'm curious.
Well, first of all, I think it is the context around her going on that show is a little weird, and I think she's like kind of lying about it, and she's kind of making this big deal about it. You know, like. She claims over time that like the leftist mafia are her friends or whatever, but like she's afraid to go on their show.
Oh,
but
wow.
she'll like name search herself and look for people talking about her to go on a small show no one's ever heard of to like have people tell her how great she is. I don't know. It just seems like a beta energy kind of move, you know?
Wow.
Do you think that there might be an element of truth to the idea that it's easier sometimes to talk to people that are a little politically different than you because they're not like as keen to
49-46.
The woman's reaction is
I'm trying to find
someone taking a skateboard and
hang on a sec.
hitting,
I want to find
Rittenhouse.
I want to find the exact like that chick that was talking on Twitter. I'm trying to find because I remember he had the thing up for a bit. It wasn't this one. Oh, this is probably it. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then I asked her. I said, "Do people normally?"
There she is.
I can already.
Yeah, this is when he said that. Yeah, she wouldn't. Andrea Rovensky. So is that who he's talking to? Because now I'm curious. Because, I mean, you can tell in the voice that this person is fucking the real unhinged one. But let's make sure, and let's give her views because, yeah, I think this is pretty. I'm pretty sure this is it.
I want to start this segment by playing a clip that I have here. I got this clip, and it's an interesting one. I want to play it for you.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm a little scared or like I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race because
that is TYT host Anna in quotations.
I think I've seen this fucking crazy person. Yeah. Like, oh no, or is, I mean, I guess some of these crazy people confused. Like, you got a PayPal and her Cash App in the fucking Patreon, everything. Cyber Demon. What a fucking nut. Wow. Your website's not up, fam. Fix it. Fix it, dummy. This is crazy. What a crazy person.
Dumbass bitch, end quotations.
Wow.
Asparian, TYT
Okay.
host, going on a right-wing show called the Lilo and Stitch Show that has like a VTuber.
Mad corny. Mad corny.
Talking about how she's afraid to talk to people outside of her race. She's afraid. Like, now I'm going to tell you this as a white person.
So as a crazy person. All right, I'm gonna leave that on the back burner.
Unloads rage on.
I just wanted to, I'm pretty sure that's the same. Where are we at? 49.
I can already
right?
tell they would never talk to me. But do they want to? I do.
40 something.
Other people?
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk to anybody. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
but that's well. I'm not asking you.
Even
I'm just saying in
sound
general.
ugly.
Don't you think there's a degree of truth to the idea that, like, if I talk to people that are politically different than me, I don't really care how they insult me, right? Like, if I talk to a conservative, he's like, you want to trans the kids or whatever. Like, I don't care. I don't care if he says that. But if I talk to a leftist and they're like, you're racist, well, that actually does kind of annoy me, right? Because they're closer politically, so the insults like make more sense, or they like strike you closer, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Well, so I don't think it's fair to say that she's being disingenuous. I think that that's actually completely understandable. I think it's pretty obvious why you would want to talk to people that are a little bit more politically different.
You see, that's the thing is, I don't think that Anna is smart enough to like have that kind of analysis that you have.
Yeah, she doesn't need to be intelligent to have that analysis. That's an intuitive thing you feel. What I gave is the intellectualized version of it. But like just internally, you feel that way. That like when you're talking to people that are politically similar, that infighting is so much more vicious than people that are politically dissimilar. Like
yeah, but I kind of like it. But that's just me.
Yeah, that is just you. We're not talking about you, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think most people like when the other side attacks them. If anything, it kind of feels good, right? Like if a conservative is saying, you want everybody to be gay or whatever, like it's kind of funny. I think it's funny. But when somebody, but when somebody on your side is saying, I think you're transphobic, I think you're a bigot or whatever, it's like, well, hold on. I'm not going to celebrate those attacks. It feels a lot different, you know?
Yeah, but back to the podcast, she said in like the first 5 minutes that like she like feels really malleable, you know, and she's like looking for more information, but like also shutting out everyone she's ever talked to and going exclusively on right-wing shows. Like, I don't know, man. It just
I never heard her say that. What I heard her say was
she said it at the start.
Well, I think what she said was that in a lot of like left-leaning spaces, it seems to be the case that a lot of the information that's given is either omitting stuff that's pretty important or it's just outright factually incorrect.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's a truthful claim.
So if that's
but
the case,
I think that's all media, right? I don't think going to right-wing news outlets or liberal mainstream. That's just how the world news works.
Sure, but I don't think she ever said, and I'm not far enough in, so maybe she did say this and I haven't gotten there yet, but I didn't hear her say like, oh, well, now I explicitly wholly trust Fox News, or now I only
she didn't say that, but she said, and I quote, I feel malleable and I'm looking for more sources.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with either of those statements, right?
I think there is something wrong with someone who is the co-host on their words, the home of progressives, going on some like backwoods right-wing show saying I'm malleable, I'm so malleable, mold my clay daddy is just like a weird thing to say.
I don't think she said I'm malleable.
Boring take. Very butthurt take. It's like, but that's like what a lot of leftists like crave themselves. You know what I mean? Like that's they want to, like, even if you're not per se malleable, like they want to shape you, so they get mad when they feel like someone else has like poached, so to speak, like their shit, you know? It's like, it's very stupid.
Malleable, mold my clay. I think what she's saying is right.
It's just like, that's my interpretation.
Well, sure, but an interpretation usually needs supporting arguments, right? It sounds like what she's saying is that I feel a little politically homeless. That's what it sounds like she's saying, which I think is a reasonable read based on.
I agree.
Sure. So unless you want her to lie about how she feels, I don't see anything wrong with any of the statements she's given so far yet.
Well, you said you haven't even finished the video yet, but
Sure.
I mean, I'm down to go point by point.
Yeah, you can. I mean, every point you brought up so far, I've completely disagreed, and I think I've supported my arguments pretty well. But if there's another point that you want to bring out,
I mean, you can disagree. It's just there's no facts here. It's just it's vibes.
No, all of these statements.
There's no facts here. It's vibes. That's what they wish for. There's no such thing as like, and there's no such thing as facts or like anybody, unless it's them. Like they think that their vibes are fact, and it's like, all right, man, you're not gonna make it very far with this. But
factual. I asked you if she had said explicitly like I'm only going to right-wing podcasts or I'm only going to listen to right. She hasn't said that. That's not true.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that I'm being hyperbolic, but I mean, we're talking about like you're talking about.
Well, you're not.
Like,
to be clear, you're not being hyperbolic. You're inventing statements and ascribing them.
No,
to it.
no. Hyperbolic is a more accurate word. But anyway,
Okay.
like you're saying, you know, like it's just vibes. She's going on a right-wing show. Like we're all talking about vibes here, you know.
We're not. But okay.
Yeah, like I just think that she is doing a series of behaviors that I personally view as strange. And I think no one in the left is calling her out. Everyone in the left are, in my opinion, acting afraid to call out the Young Turks because everyone in the left-wing media space like worships them or some shit. And so I'm just providing a counterbalance to that. Like I say f that shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who you are. I think what you're saying is dumb and I'm going to say so. So that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Everyone but
Have you pointed out anything? So what are some things you think she said that was dumb, I guess?
Well, like I said, I think going on a right-wing show and telling
when
them
someone starts to answer a question with like I said, like if they're full of shit.
how malleable you are, I think that's dumb. I mean, just like
So
on
even if
optics,
that's true, you think that, so now we're moving away from she's like lying or saying incorrect things to where you just think the optics
I
are bad.
never really said that she's lying per se, but I think she's selling
I'm pretty sure she did actually.
the truth. I think she's truthfully very dumb.
Okay. It sounded in the beginning like you were implying she was being a bit disingenuous, but I might have misinterpreted that.
I mean, disingenuous and lying are different, right? You know, it's like the lying, like saying wrong information versus lying from omission. You know, like they're slightly.
I feel like I had this conversation this like an hour ago. The same type of conversation where it's just like, what the okay. I mean, I break this guy's balls sometimes, but like I'm genuinely in awe of his ability to fucking stay as calm as he does because he gives so much time to like random people who are just like shitting out of their mouths, you know? And it's like it's admirable because it's like I'm sure he wasn't always as good at handling it as he is now, which is like that's why I like to do it and I mean, among other reasons, of course, it's not the only reason why. It's like, but it's like going to the gym. It's like you work out a certain muscle and it gets stronger. So it's like I feel like the more shitty takes I hear from people, the more tolerant I become, you know, and like the better I get at like practicing patience and like with that, I mean, getting patience is like it's like a giving tree of benefits because you know patience, you know, a lot of people lack it these days. So it gives you a lot of things. You learn to tolerate a lot of bullshit. And if there's anything that I need to learn is to not, as good as I am at not losing my cool in like an outward way, like I don't mind working to get better at it, you know, because it really is very taxing and stressful. Talking to people who are like just not like making any sense, and then you're just like, all right, like I'm gonna continue to engage with you, but it's like I don't know what the fuck we're doing here, but it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna rage quit. I'm not gonna fucking just dismiss you as being a stupid person because that's a slippery slope too. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people on the left do, where they just look at it like, oh, are you slow? Are you dumb or whatever? And it's like, just because I'm not agreeing with you, like you clearly don't factor in the idea, the possibility that what you're saying doesn't make any fucking sense. So it's like, you're paying more, you're putting all this energy into like everyone is wrong but me, and it's like that's a pretty ignorant place to come from, to thinking. So if you operate in that fucking, and I used to be this way, like when I was younger, and it was like blind, I don't know, like blind courage or whatever. And I think a lot of young people do this, where they think they know how everything works, and it's just like they have no idea how what they're saying is rooted in a whole lot of nothing. Whether it's just repeating what other people say or it's just something that they conjured up in their mind because they think that they got this like, I don't know where this blind confidence comes from with like the younger folks or whatever, but it seems like a pretty common thing that extends into older years for a lot of people. It's fucking sad. Anyway,
Really different.
Disingenuous implies the intentionality of not being genuine, which is what
Well,
people
I'm
say synonymous with
also-
lying, but yeah.
Sure, but like I'm also going to say I'm making an argument that I think she is not smart enough for that to be in the conscious levels of thought. I think she's riding on subconscious vibes.
riding on subconscious vibes. Yeah, that's my response.
I mean, you can say that,
okay.
but I'm curious if there's like do we have a reason to believe that she's like stupid? I guess she's been in media for a long time. She's commented.
I mean, I think
I mean, to be fair, it's not a good way to respond to that. A ton of fucking brain dead people who work in news and media.
A lot of people in media, like Chris Matthews, is stupid. Like
I'm asking
Chris Cuomo is
particularly
stupid.
for.
Oh, yeah, good on her.
Anna, do we feel like she said something or done something that's explicitly like stupid?
Well, I don't know about we. I'm just saying my opinion.
Have
right?
you?
I
Yeah,
think-
but generally
yeah.
the opinion is gonna be written that I saw her say.
It's so fucking annoying that people do that when they're like, you call them out, like, all right, something they said is not factually correct. And they're like, so well, it's just what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, we know that because you're the one that fucking said it. Oh, that's just how I see it. You asked me what I think. And I was like, no, I asked you what is like to give me a factual basis for the claim that you're making. And then you just, you retreat and you fall back on this like bullshit. Like that doesn't make it a fact. Like you're not, like, where the fuck are you going with this? Like, yeah, we know that's what you think. What you think is wrong. What you think is fucking factually retarded. So it's like, you can't start out a conversation or start out an argument for something and posture it like it's fact, or position it like it's fact. And sometimes these people even say something as a fact, and then they'll still retreat and be like, well, that's just how I see it. And it's like, yeah, no fucking shit. That's how you see it. The way you see things is fucking wrong. It's like they're trying to get away with it, and when they realize they can't get away with it, they're like, oh, this is just what I'm saying. That's just what I'm saying. But it's like there's a term for this in psychology, and I always get it confused with the there's like the foot in the door technique, and then there's another one that like is usually the one that I forget. But it's like the idea of like, I'm gonna shoot for the stars, and like, what's the harm in asking for it, because I might actually get it. So it's like, but even if I don't, like, what I really want baseline is what they might end up. It's like a negotiation technique basically. So it's like, if you go into an argument and you ask, and you like, let's say you're selling something, right? And your baseline for that, for you to be happy, let's say the thing you're selling a clock, right? And the clock is, you want to get about $1,000 for it, right? A clock. You're going to ask for fucking $2,000, right? And you're like, yo, like, they're probably going to say no to that, but I might get 15 because they're going to want to make a good deal, right? Like they're going to want to feel like they got a good deal. And I want to feel like I got some, but even if they say no to that and they say, all right, 1,200, like, cause that would be your counter offer, right? They'll say, all right, 1,500. You're like, nah, the lowest I could do is 1,200. But in the beginning, you realistically wanted $1,000, so you're coming out on top because you got 1,200, and you gave the illusion that you were giving the other person a good deal. And I feel like people do this, in arguments where they shoot for the fucking stars and say outrageous shit, and it might not even be conscious. It might just be like a flailing response where they're just like, someone shoots down what the fuck they just said, and they're just like, oh fuck, and they just like look for the next lowest like rung, and they're just like, let me fucking cling to that. And like, and a lot of it is just a really simple, like, it's a really short ladder, let's say, to stay on that metaphor, I guess. They just immediately jump to like, well, that's just how I see it. And it's like, okay, I thought we were arguing, like, where I'm not talking to you specifically for your opinions on things. Like, you're talking in a way that makes it seem like you know what you're saying, and that you're making declarative, definitive statements on something, and you're acting cocky as fuck, like, you have the biggest understanding, the biggest brain on things. And then when I give you a little bit of like fucking pushback, your shit fucking crumbles, and then you cling to, oh well, that's just how I see things. And it's like, well, that doesn't really mean much, does it? We're not talking about how what you feel. We're talking about what is fucking true and not, And it's like, okay, well, that's just how you feel. Well, it's like, I feel like I got to start doing this, and I think I did earlier a bit, and I don't know, maybe I don't think I was aggressive, but I think you gotta, there's a way to go about it. And it's like, when someone is saying something foolish, you just tell them. It's like, well, what you said is stupid. That's very foolish. And if you would like, I will go in depth about how you are wrong about this. But it's probably not gonna do anything for you, because you're really invested in this foolish notion. And for some reason, there's nothing anyone can say, because it's like a pride thing for people, where it's just like, I want to stay believing what I want to believe, and there's nothing you can say. And I've literally heard people say this to me, that they like, and there's nothing you can say that would change my mind. And it's like, well, then why do you even talk to people? You only want to talk to people who agree with you. That's the definition of ignorance. It's the definition of being ignorant. So crazy to me. That's like the best example of being ignorant, I should say. It's like you literally are actively ignoring people who don't say exactly what you already think. And it's like, what an egotistical way to operate. You know what I mean? And you know, actually, I think this is a good thing that Destiny does, where he's like, he's charitable in the regard of like, he'll refer to something that someone said and he'll be like, okay, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I misheard or whatever, like whatever. And it's like, he probably didn't mishear it, but he's I don't know if it's a conscious tactic that he does, or he's just looking at it like, okay, you know what, I'm playing these fucking games all the time while and maybe I didn't hear it, you know what I mean? But like, I think he actually does believe that. He's like, you know what, like sometimes I fuck up too, like whatever, you know. And he gives people a chance to be like, all right, no, this is actually what I said or whatever. And he probably later on goes back, you know. And that's what's cool about this channel, is that whoever edits this, I really doubt it's him. Oh, this is the main channel, okay. But you see edits and like callbacks to like other videos, so you get better context than if you were just watching the stream live or whatever. And I wish I had the fucking resources to do shit like that. Like I have a list of like clips I have to make that I just haven't made yet because it's just so exhausting. It's exhausting enough fucking talking to people on the internet and shit like that. But give me a second, I'll be right back. Meow 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 meow. How long we been live anyway? Like a couple hours now, right? Meow 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 meow.
Down the thing. So like, I think, for instance, a person is stupid because I've seen them say this, this, and this. So like, has she said things that are like incorrect or wrong or stupid, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Did she say any of those things in this interview, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think what she said about Kyle Rittenhouse is pretty stupid. I think what she said.
What do you think she said about like
Jesse Stingal is pretty stupid.
Sure,
I don't know. She's just saying a lot of stupid shit, in my opinion.
Sure. For the Rittenhouse stuff, what do you think she said that was stupid? Did she get anything factually incorrect?
I think what she's doing is I correctly feels.
See, like that should be a yes or no question, and I go through the same exact issue when I talk to certain people, where like I just asked you a very simple question, like give me an example, but like say yes or no. I'm asking. It's a very simple question. Do you think she was factually incorrect about something? Yes, she was. Okay, explain. No, she wasn't. Okay. But it's like it's like they already, it's like subconsciously people see a couple steps ahead and they're just like, it's like subconsciously they realize like I'm fucked. So they're just like, they don't even immediately answer the question. They just talk about some other shit. They just say well, I feel like blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, again, with the I feel. It's like, yeah, we know how you feel. I'm asking you a very simple question about fucking reality. Do you feel, or do you think she was right or wrong? Yes or no? Like, yes or no, right or wrong? Which is it? And then, yeah, but I think she just fucking, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Why can't anyone, you know? Anyway. Damn, I just accidentally went to the end of the fucking video.
Yeah, so, like, has she said things that are, like, incorrect?
Oh,
or
wow.
wrong, or...
I actually went, like, I just clicked the spot where I felt like it was, and I happened to be exactly right. That's crazy.
Stupid, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Did she say any of those things in this interview, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think what she said about Kyle Rittenhouse is pretty stupid. I think what she said.
What do you think she said about like
Jesse Stingall is pretty stupid.
Sure.
I think
Jesse who?
She's just saying a lot of stupid shit, in my opinion.
Sure. For the Rittenhouse stuff, what do you think she said that was stupid? Did she get anything factually incorrect?
I think what she's doing is she correctly feels that the story was manipulated, and she's providing an overcorrection and an oversimplification of the whole thing. She also said that it was you know, this is one thing that right-wingers do, is they love jumping on like random tangentially related facts, and then same thing the liberal media does, ignoring all the surrounding context, right? Like, I think discussing whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines, I think that doesn't matter. That's not really related. Like, it's legally, right? If we're talking about legally, yeah, he got away with it. Legally, everything he did was fine. But I don't really care about the legal argument. I'm more concerned with the moral implications of...
You see, it's a good old leftist spaghetti entanglement logic where they just fucking... They weasel their way out of what it is. I know that. Well, if you're asking this, okay, I guess you're right. But that's not what I'm saying. It's actually this. They do these fucking twists and turns and shit, acting like the argument is something that it's not. And it's like, bro, the fuck out of my face with this shit. If you would have started out saying like, okay, legally for sure. It's like, no. You started out with saying this is a stupid bitch, whatever this fucking maniac is saying. And then when someone fucking pushes you back, or you remind yourself of what people are actually saying, who are making good points, but you literally cannot like accept that. Your brain can't handle that. Your ideology can't handle that. So you're like, okay, I guess, well, legally, if that's what you're doing. But I'm talking about the moral implication. It's like they add more syllables, more random words to like fucking, I mean, not random words, but like kind of. Where it's just like if I just say more shit and like I can just kind of weasel my way out of this so I can still try and find an avenue to change the subject and fucking make it seem like I'm the one that's right, even though I deep down know that you were right the entire time. That's what these people do. It's like, it's so, yeah, and you have to cut them off because it's just like, no, that's not what we're talking about. Like, and he's probably going to do it right now. Watch.
People going to protests with guns and, defending property rights. And I just think that kind of thing is getting lost in this whole legalese kind of bullshit,
Sure. There's a couple things. So one is the reason why the crossing state lines was brought up so much was because people initially were given the impression that he drove really far away. It wasn't necessarily,
Yeah, like he lived like they were basically on the state line. He's just on the, like, it's a magical line in the sand, like it's like a 30-minute drive, if you're going to your mom's house.
Yeah, that was one part. And then the second part was nobody died or killed anybody protecting property that night, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure it was a self-defense incident, so I don't know how that's...
Yeah, but that's a legal argument. I don't really care about the legal argument. Like,
yeah, you don't really care about, it's not a legal argument. I mean, I'm very curious to hear what this moral argument would be against someone defending themselves. This should be great.
He went there to defend property, and he killed people to defend property, right?
Well,
like,
no.
I'm not having a legal discussion.
Sure, he might have went there to defend property. We're not talking in law right now. He might have went there to defend property. That's possible. But the people they ultimately killed had nothing to do with the defense of property, right?
I disagree.
Jesus Christ.
Whose property Did he kill who? When did he
Well,
kill
he
somebody
went
defending
there
property? Mhm.
with a gun to patrol with, in his words, to defend property. That's why he went there. And in that stated goal, right, whatever happened, he ended up killing people. He was...
Wow, doesn't even see the issue with what she's saying and how it proves her fucking point wrong. It's so weird how people like, oh man.
there to defend property. Like, if the argument is he just like left his post of defending property to go like roam the streets with a gun looking for trouble, I'm down to pursue that path.
Sure, you can, but so there's literally no justification for that. If you think that, there's no reason to believe that's true.
Left his post?
He might have
What is
gone
that?
he was roaming the streets looking for trouble.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that, but yeah.
Sure. So if somebody goes...
Yeah, but you are saying that. I'm not necessarily saying that. It's not the same as I'm definitively not saying that. Like, you got to be very careful with your words now, because people really try to fucking get sneaky. They try to like fucking snake around everything. And it's like, dude, you know what the fuck you're saying. You know what you're saying. Shut up. Stop pretending like what you're saying is not fucking asinine, you know?
To an area, let's say somebody goes to a bar and they're like, I want to start a fight with an Asian person because I'm racist. And while they're at the bar, a white person like tries to rape them and they end up like killing that white person as a result of that. Would you say that like that self-defense was wrong because they went there originally looking for trouble?
Let me guess. I'll tell you right now, she's not gonna take the bait on this. I'll be so surprised if she actually did it. I mean, it's not. He's not really baiting her either. He's just, all right, what do you think about this? And this is a really good debate tactic where it's like you kind of have to like give an example that's outside of the situation instead of a hypothetical within the situation that you're arguing about, right? Because you're taking the principle of the argument that you're trying to make and you're removing it from the thing at hand. So it's like, okay, so if this happened, and sometimes it can be hyperbolic and you put like extremes. I tried this earlier. Usually it doesn't work. I guess in proving your point to the person you're arguing with, particularly if they're a fucking leftist. But it at least shows to your audience, the people that are watching, because most people will probably look at this because they're removed from the conversation as well. So it's easier for them to see than the person you're debating with. So it's actually a very effective technique because they look at it like, okay, I'm not actively being engaged with this, so my brain's not occupied with that aspect of it, of like, you know, like you might have like, you know, you're doing all the math of the argument, whatever. You're talking to someone else. You might have some nerves. You might have some whatever. But like for the people watching, which are obviously way more than just the one person that he's debating or whatever or talking to, it makes everyone watching it just like, oh shit, like, and that's why people fuck with this dude, because it's like he's not being effective at changing the minds or proving a point to the person he's debating, and I don't think he expects that. I'm sure he's been effective. I haven't watched enough. This guy has like fucking 5 billion hours of content online. He's just like eternally streaming. He's probably streaming right now, but it's a very effective tool. Like, in just like to other people, all the other people who are watching, where they're just looking at it like, oh shit, I actually used to think more like this person, but I saw them in this fucking debate with this guy, and he made some really sound points, and now this person that I used to fuck with or think like looks like a fucking fool, and I realize how they're fucking wrong, and like this guy just made it seems like the goal is for him to change her mind, or him to change whoever the person is, but he ends up changing more minds like in the content that he puts out and shit like that. Like it's a very like, again, I don't know how like calculated this is on his part, but it's like kind of the point of being a content creator, right? Especially when you're in the space of debating and just talking about political shit and stuff like that, you know, like it's fucking cool. And I made this, I've been like careful to not say this, but like, I think, matter of fact, I don't even know why I'm so careful to say it, because I think it's true, but like, I think content creators have exponentially more influence over people than like politicians, which is not saying much, right? But like also more than the mainstream media. Yeah, I think that especially in the past couple of years, because a lot of mainstream people, whether they be left or right, I think there's been an erosion of trust in mainstream media because people acknowledge that, like, even if their go-to publications are saying stuff that they already agree with and believe, like that feeling of like validation of like, yes, like I'm right. It's so good to know that I'm on the right team. I'm on the winning side of history. Like all that shit. I feel like all that like euphoria that comes with that, it diminishes over a while. So it's like, even if you feel like you're on the winning team and like the establishment is like, I side with reality and blah blah blah, reality sides with me and I, you know, Democrat, but whatever the fuck it is, like that. After a while, you're gonna be like, okay, now you're still gonna notice the grossness. And there are a lot of people who don't get to this point, and I know people like this, where they don't realize how like they're in a cult where it's like the cult is telling them like, we're winning, we're fucking on the we're everything is going our way, we're making so much progress, and it's like everything else points to otherwise, and they're just running around like, yes, we're winning or whatever, and everyone else is like, what the fuck? In what world, bitch? Do you think that's what's going on or whatever, you know? But aside from those people, I think a lot of people who are like, you know, they have a decent ability to be objective, and like even if they feel like their go-to media outlets are saying what they like to hear or whatever, or that they agree with what they're saying or whatever, they over a while you still get skeptical, right? And I'm not sure why that is. It might be because that stuff is being combated with influencers and like content creators and shit like that. And even if you're like an old person who only watches like the news channels, like you still probably use Facebook and shit, right? Like so you're probably gonna see, because every content creator is like on every platform, and you see clips and you see stuff like that. And then not only that, but like even if you watch, let's say Fox News or whatever, or CNN, they're posting content from independent journalists, and I mean probably less so on like CNN shit, unless it's like, I mean there aren't that many prominent like legit establishment Democrats, but like on well, I guess there are a couple, but I think there's less so than otherwise, like compared to centrists and like right wingers and shit like that. But even if you're an old boomer who doesn't fuck with social media that much, like you probably watch YouTube, you probably have seen certain content creators clips on like Facebook and all this shit. And like I feel like at this point a lot of old people are using like YouTube. Like there's people in like their 80s and 90s that are using YouTube. Like it's crazy. I've seen these people doing like stuff like meetings, like virtual like meetups and stuff like that, like hobby stuff and all kinds of other things on like Zoom and Discord even. How cool would that be? It's like seeing like a fucking 85-year-old talking with his boys and shit on Discord, and he's like, these fucking commie bastards. That'd be the greatest show ever, bro. I should do that. I should like talk to my friends and be like, yo, we should just get all of our grandpas together and we produce the show, but like we're not on camera, on mic, or at all. We just get them together in a room and we just fucking just hit record, bro. You know, you obviously most likely gonna have to edit certain things out or whatever, you know, because they're gonna say some wild shit, especially if they're like, you know, in their 80s, 90s, like. But that'd be so funny to get like a fucking bunch of old people together and like just to have like a group discussion. Fuck, that's a fire idea. I wonder if I can make that happen. Because it's like, who had they got nothing better to do a lot of the times. Like, you know, some like a lot of them have a hobby. A lot of people, I don't want to be too presumptuous, but like nothing but time, you know, retired, love to talk, lots of stories. It's like there should be more podcasts and like group discussions and shit like that with like people who are old as fuck, because it's like they got the most, as long as they're not too far gone where it's just like they're just making shit up. But even if they are, it's like it's more entertaining, you know? Dude, that'd be so fucking fire. I don't know where I got that idea from. I mean, I guess I do. So funny when you just ramble for a while and you just start to get ideas. Anyway, let's see. Still talking to this crazy person, this guy.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, so people went there originally looking for trouble.
Oh wow, I was wrong. I was wrong.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, she hit him with the okay, all right. You're making a good point there. You're making a good point there.
Yeah, so people bring up the defensive property, but Rittenhouse didn't kill anybody defending property. It was just self.
That's the Eddie
defense. People were trying to attack him, right?
Shout out to Eddie.
Yeah, I think your hypothetical is a good hypothetical, but like I also don't necessarily think it applies here, right? Because protests are inherently political. People go to protests for all kind of reasons. It's kind of different than someone who's just like a skeevy fuck going out there to rape some bitch. You know, like that's a weird thing. That's kind of like, you know.
Talking like that.
And then we also have to discuss that
You blow your father with that mouth.
I think that an important part of the Kyle Rittenhouse thing is that he got groomed into thinking that going into a protest with a gun is an acceptable thing to do. You know, where's the parents? But either way, we're getting off track here. I think we're talking about Anna Kasparian, right?
But no. Well,
What's
this
her
is.
take
I
on
think
the
this is the
situation?
whole. I think this is the whole point. I don't think this is off track at all. I think this is exactly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. What's being discussed is that the way that these stories get represented or misrepresented are just so far away from the reality of it that what happens is, and I think this has happened to a lot of people, and it's just one person in a long chain of people it's happening to, is that when you actually sit down and you look at the facts of a case, or you look at the fact of the matter, you find out that progressives have been basically lying completely about it the entire time. And then that...
Well, I don't know about progressives, but I think the right's been lying about it. I think everybody lies about everything, just to be clear. That's what I think.
Wow.
And that's why I'm less concerned.
Such a fucking insane blanket statement to make.
With like, you know, the legal arguments. I think the law is a bullshit system, so I'm just more concerned with the moral argumentation and implications.
Okay, I guess so. Morally, do you think people have a right to defend their property?
Depends on how we defend, right? Like,
do you think people have a right to take a rifle and shoot people that are trying to threaten or destroy their property?
No, I don't think that they have a right to, per se. No, does that mean that there's no circumstance where that's acceptable? No.
Well, what would be a circumstance where it's acceptable?
You know, if someone has like a, you know, like, you know, let's say you got
Wow, said you know like fucking 3 times in like 2 seconds.
a pickup truck and...
A high sign of insecurity in a debate.
And, you know, a bunch of guys are coming in. They got AKs. They're about to fuck your shit up. Let's say they got a flag that says, we're going to fuck your shit up. Then, yeah, maybe bring out the rifle. But oftentimes, you know, I think people bring guns or guns are there. And it's like, guns aren't really a problem solver in a lot of instances. They just, you know, someone could be getting into a fist fight and then the problem solved. But when guns are involved, now that guy is dead, right? So I don't necessarily think guns are always something you should have for self-defense. It depends on the purpose, right? And if at a protest, I don't think you should bring guns to a protest.
Sure. There were multiple protesters there that brought guns, at least 2 of which were involved with Rittenhouse, 2 of the other protesters there. So if they have guns and if somebody wants to defend their property, doesn't it kind of make sense that you would probably bring a gun too?
I mean, not really. Because if you want to, like, I mean, if you want to, like, again, we're talking about defend your property versus defending property.
Well, right now
like,
I'm just asking if you can defend your property. If you agree with me there, then we move on to the can you ask people for help to defend property? I would think that it's a logical extension of the first point, but I'm just saying if you think there's ever a point during the LA riots, the rooftop Koreans, where they had the right to defend their businesses, or, you know, for the Tulsa race riots, if black people would have wanted to defend their property violently against racist white people, would they have had the right to do that, or would you compel them to let their businesses burn? I'm just curious what your position is on it, because I noticed that people had the right
bars
versus defending property.
Well, right now
like,
I'm just asking if you can defend your property. If you agree with me there, then we move on to the can you ask people for help to defend property? I would think that it's a logical extension of the first point, but I'm just saying if you think there's ever a point during the LA riots, the rooftop Koreans, where they had the right to defend their businesses, or
damn, that's fucking good. The scapegoat here, like like what I like to call now is like the parachute button, right? Or like the what is it called? Like the ejaculation, son. What is the fucking the emergency eject shit, like the shit that pilots have in like fighter jets and shit like that. I predict something like this.
you know, for the Tulsa race riots, if black people would have wanted to defend their property violently against racist white people, would they have had the right to do that? Or would you compel them to let their businesses burn? I'm just curious what your position is on it. Because I notice that people always take this hardline stance of like, no, you can never defend your property. And it's like, for a lot of people, these businesses are their livelihoods. They've spent their whole lives, sometimes multiple generations building them. It seems weird to compel them to sacrifice those businesses to incoming protesters or rioters.
I think self-defense should be something that is not a tit for tat and escalatory. I'm sorry, I'm high.
Jesus.
Seems weird to compel them to sacrifice those businesses to incoming protesters or rioters.
I think self-defense should be something that is not a tit for tat and escalatory. I'm sorry, I'm high. Like, I don't think if someone threatens you with a gun, okay, then guns are involved, right? But like,
well, I'm saying no guns involved. Let's say somebody's walking up to your business with a match and a can of kerosene or whatever, and they're like, I'm going to burn your business down. You can leave. I'm not going to hurt you. You guys can leave out the back, but I will burn your store down.
It's such a good argument to me because it's like, who in their right mind would argue against this? You know what I mean? Because this is a person who's intentional, like they're intending to do harm to you, right? And it's like, just because you don't have a gun doesn't mean you can't have not only damaging like effect, but like lethal effect, right? Like everyone looks at like guns, oh my god, guns are so bad, guns are the worst, guns. And it's like, why should you have a gun? And it's like, why not? It's the equalizer, bro. I ain't gonna do nothing with that thing unless you make me grab that thing. You don't gotta have a thing in order for me to grab this thing and make it a thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is such a fucking insane, like, such an insane logic of just like, these people live in like a fucking world where they just like, guns should not exist at all. And it's like, if it wasn't guns, there would be something else that would be just as it would become the new marker. It might not be exactly as fucking potentially dangerous as certain guns, especially like the rifles and like the deadly assault weapons, like all this fucking nonsense or whatever. But it's like, if we just magically eliminated all of the guns, it's like, what the fuck do you think would happen? What's the next best thing? The next best thing is fucking knives, explosives. You have unlimited cars. You have unlimited possibilities. If you're motivated to kill multiple people or even just one person, you could do it very easily without a fucking gun. So it's like the scapegoat here is like the gun thing. Like, they just love guns. The gun thing is just, oh, they hate guns. I hate guns. The guns are the worst. More guns make everything worse. And it's like I kind of wish I was this fucking stupid to like just live in a world where but it's like, why? I clearly wouldn't be any happier if I was this stupid, because these people fucking love being miserable and they're very clearly unhappy. So it's like, you can't even argue like blissful ignorance, because this is the group of people who are like miserably ignorant.
Is a person compelled to watch their business burn, or do they have a right to say, like, well, no, if you do this, I am going to shoot and kill you?
I think killing someone to defend a business is morally wrong. Yeah.
Fuck off.
So then you would say that in the case of the LA riot...
Yeah, it's easy to say for someone who doesn't own a fucking business. You know what I mean?
Riots, in the case of the Tulsa race riots...
If the arsonist is saying, hey, bro, get out of here, I'm about to burn your stuff down, and they're giving you that opportunity...
Whoa, they're giving you that opportunity. What a fucking crazy person. If you own a business and someone walks in and they're saying, hey, I'm going to burn your business down, and they're giving you the opportunity, fuck you, dude. The fuck kind of stupid shit is that to say? Like, what, like, how detached from reality? Like, how the fuck? Like, it's so detached from reality, dude. That's like me saying, like, well, if I was a millionaire and someone fucking, you know, wanted to take like a couple bucks from me, fuck it, I don't care. Take it. That's her, but that's her talking about someone else's shit. It's like, if you have a business thing and someone gives you the opportunity, so fucking cock to fucking think this, that's insane.
I don't think killing them in my opinion, I don't think killing them is acceptable.
Hey, didn't even say that. He didn't even say that. Defending is what he said. Are you allowed to do anything? Are you allowed to do anything if someone if you own a business that you worked and you put your blood, sweat, and tears and everything into, and some fucking asshole with a Molotov cocktail or whatever, or a group of friends with guns wants to come in and destroy your business for whatever reason, not even because you didn't want to make a gay cake or whatever. They're giving you an opportunity to do what? Run away from your own fucking business? Fuck you, dude. You're getting shot. Or I'm going to do whatever the fuck, even if I don't have a gun. You have a group of assholes coming in to destroy my livelihood. Shit that, like, you know, especially if it's like a family business. Like, none of these things factor in this lunatic's mind. It's just like, this is crazy logic.
Sure. So you would compel people to watch their businesses burn. You would say, sorry, rioter showed up with a match. You have to just watch your business burn. You're not allowed to do anything about it.
Would I compel them? I don't believe in compelling anybody to do anything. I'm just telling you my opinion.
Well, no, hold on. Wait.
Yeah, this is like, you know, I had a moment earlier after the, first of all, what's that meme where the guy's like, he's like rubbing his face. He's like, there's like a meme face guy where he's just like that. That's me, but I need one where it's just like, fuck me. And I'm just like rubbing my temples and shit. After my conversation with Cherub earlier, I had this moment of like legit, like gaslit fucking like, I mean, I don't know if it was really like, I didn't really feel gaslit, but like I questioned things. It's like you like when people like have such conviction for crazy shit, you're like, yo, I don't know, man. Like I thought I was being logical or whatever. I was making all this fucking sense. Other people seem to agree with this. I retraced my steps. I went through this, and they're still saying this insanely like stupid shit. And you're like, wait, maybe I'm the fucking crazy person. But then I watch shit like this, and I'm like, nope, I'm not. I mean, I won't argue that I'm not crazy, but I'm not wrong about a lot of things like this. Because you're just like, no, this is the validation. No, that's because it's hard, dude. It's hard. It's really difficult when you have people who like impervious to logic, or like it's like they're not even listening to you speak. It's like they mute you when you speak, and they just read like some weird transcription that was like not accurate, and they just don't even directly acknowledge what you're saying, and they just go on about something else. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm thinking. Like shit like this. And you're like, what the fuck?
Compel people to watch their businesses burn.
Like, listen to this. This is so
I don't
good.
think killing them is acceptable.
Sure. So you would in the case of the Tulsa race riots, so then you would say that in the case of the LA riots, in the case of the Tulsa race riots,
if the arsonist is saying, hey bro, get out of here, I'm about to burn your stuff down, and they're giving you that opportunity, I don't think killing them, in my opinion, I don't think killing them is acceptable.
Sure. So you would compel people to watch their businesses burn. You would say, sorry, rioter showed up with a match. You have.
You see how she's not grappling with the question. She's focusing on one word, and it's compel. So this is straw manning. This is like a pretty big like leftist thing that I don't even know. I think it's a disease you catch, where it's like you're incapable of actually focusing on the question. Or like I said, subconsciously ignoring and scheming to fucking focus on something else and like try and shift. It's like, oh no, I fucked up. I got
to just watch your business burn. You're not allowed to do anything about it.
You're not allowed to do anything is what he's asking. If someone's attacking your thing, you're not allowed to do it, right? This is how this bitch responds.
Would I compel them? I don't believe in compelling anybody to do anything. I'm just telling you my opinion.
It's like, that's like a straw man scapegoat. It's a straw goat, if there ever was one. It's a combination of things right there. It's just like weaseling out, but also making it seem like he's not right for what you didn't even answer the fucking question. Also, the chat is very funny.
Well, no, hold on, wait. No one cares about what is like just a personal opinion. We're asking what you think the moral standard should be.
I need that soundboard. I should get a soundboard sample of him being like, well, no, wait. Because that's like the story of my life lately, bro.
Right? That's the important thing, not like what would you do personally. So I'm asking, like when I say compel, I mean like saying like you ought not do something. We're not even in the area of law yet. I'm just curious, would you tell somebody like, listen, if you want to be a moral person, you have to let your business burn. You cannot protect your business. You see the guy coming with the match, the can of kerosene.
Yeah, if we're talking about being a moral person, yeah. But then also, I would say that not every decision anyone and everyone ever makes is necessarily moral, or perfect morality should be necessarily something to strive for. So,
what are you
is
talking
the moral
about?
Decision to watch your business burn and let the guy get away with it and maybe sue them later or something? Sure, is that the moral decision? But not everyone's always going to make the moral decision.
And to be clear, sue them later. We're not getting money out of these people, right? They're
Yeah, like that's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, you have a crazy person, probably homeless and or a drug user, suing them, like it's such a fucking like it's like weasel tactic 101. Weasel tactics 101 to like say this kind of shit, right?
Protesters are not. You're probably not gonna get 100,000, 500,000. Yeah. Okay. So then, so I'll
not getting shit.
I'm not perfectly satisfied, but I'll let that stand. Okay. So we'll say.
He's being way too generous. The chat is really funny. Someone's like, sue a bum? She literally has no problems. And someone says, how about tase them instead of killing them? Yeah, and a lot of people are actually calling her a weasel too. Yeah, it's weasel logic.
It's immoral, but it's understandable. Would you say that Rittenhouse is
quote unquote, maybe sue them later or something? What is the point of morality if it's not the ideal way to live? Damn. Out of touch internet loser talking about morality. Damn.
Behavior was at the very least then understandable, or would you say it's just fully, completely, not even, you can
it can be understandable.
Sue them later, actual retard.
And immoral, right?
Yeah, I agreed. I granted you that, even though I disagree, but I'll grant you that. But would you say at the very least it's understandable? I could understand why he would want to protect the community he's been involved in.
I can understand why someone in that environment, raised in that environment, would feel that way. Yes.
Well, this would be most environments in the United States, right? Like, I think most people feel like they would want to defend. They wouldn't want their business to be burned down by rioters, right? That's like probably one of the worst things you could compel a person to suffer, right?
Yes, yeah. I don't know about the worst thing. I mean,
I didn't say the worst thing. I said one of the worst things. I think if your family or if you've spent decades building a business and somebody's like, sorry, people are going to come burn it down and there's nothing you can do.
Someone said we should sue this retard for damaging our brain cells. Oh, fuck, man. I try not to give too much, attention to this stuff, but it's like, it's so, how do people really, exist in this, atmosphere? You know what I mean? It's like, you really think that you have sound arguments. It's so fucking insane. It's so insane. It really baffles me, man.
About it. I think we can at least understand why people would be like, well, I don't think I want to just sit there and have some guy come and...
Yeah, we could...
So insecure how you just went, huh?
People would be like, well, I don't think I want to just sit there and have some...
Listen to that.
I think we can at least understand why people would be like, well, I don't think I want to just sit there and have some guy come and...
Yeah, we could also ask, why do people want to burn my business down? And then go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I should send, you know what I should do is send this bitch's YouTube account, her link. I'm gonna send it to fucking Cherub and be like, yo, find your people. You should start a podcast with her and you guys can just agree with each other. But of course they won't, because everyone always finds something. First of all, let me finish that thought. Everyone will find something to disagree with, no matter who they're talking to, man. How ideologically simpatico they might be, whatever the fuck. Also, this whack job, right? Yo, how you wearing glasses from fucking 2002, bro? Those are the oval, it's not even they're these are they got patina on them. It's Like nobody wears glasses like this anymore. Like, I don't know if this is like an ironic choice or is like these are just the same glasses you've been wearing. I see green in there. And if there's green in there, that's fucking, I forgot what it's called, but what happens to metal, like the Statue of Liberty basically. And it happens a lot on eyeglasses because like from washing them and like your oils and the rain, shit like that. How you still wearing these glasses, bro?
Would she actually believe?
Those are like the pillow ovals. And it's like you could talk shit about like the glasses I'm wearing. Like they're rimless. They're like they don't even have like a shape. Like they're kind of a callback, but they're a modern take on like an old. Like those are the fucking like super dork. Like that's like everyone's mom wore these glasses like 30 years ago. You know. I know that's ad hom, whatever, but this is a legitimate crazy person, and I don't like her lips. So this is her thing, by the way. Her bio. I am Andrea. I am an anarchist, communist, anti-fascist, anti-racist, peace and love promoting. Yeah, this is all. I mean, halfway through this, so you're already a liar. All right, here, and love promoting white girl. Wow. It's like this is like the definition of instability. Is like this shit right here. You know. Oh, it plays games. Well, it looks like that's how they started out, right? That's cool. Quake 4 mods and stuff like Mega Man. I fuck with that. I hope it'd be nice if you just did more stuff like this and we didn't actually have to hear your horrible opinions, but you know, I welcome them. So like this is like what's her so like when did she really start to get fucking some I started commenting on Project Veritas 3 years ago. This is like one of the top things outside of like old boomer shooters or whatever. Like cool games. I'll give them that. Can't knock that, man. Especially when there's mods involved. But like this is like the one thing. At 31,000 views. All right. So like that's not much, right? Caitlin Bennett getting demolished. But yeah. This is like that's the girl that everyone tried to lie about on the left about her like shitting herself and stuff like that. And then female cop gang banged the entire. Oh yeah, that chick. Yeah, that was fucking low hanging fruit. And that was pathetic how everyone jumped all over that. Like there wasn't more important things to talk about back then. You know what I mean? Like that was like a few months ago, right? Like the chick that like banged all the. She was an ugly. I mean, she looked a lot like this fucking. She looked a lot like this bitch though. That fucking that girl who banged the fucking cops, her coworkers, and did all this other shit. It looked a lot like this fucking freak show. Oh, nice. There's a lot of, like, Doom stuff on here. Seems like a cool purse. Otherwise. Neo-Nazis react to Seattle Autonomous Zone. Reading stupid comments. Jeez Louise. I mean, this, you know what this does? This gives me hope. It tells me that if I stick with things long enough, I too can find my own army of stupid people to fucking support me. Subscribe to me and all this shit. Someday, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Someday, somehow, I'm gonna make it alright, but not right now. I know you wondering when. You're the only one. Alright, I'm done. I don't know. Kind of tired, kind of burnt out. Heard enough foolish arguments. I actually watched that longer than I thought I was going to. This shit is ooh-wee. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Go do something else. Bye.